Hello, Shep.
Oh, we're off air. Oh, right. Sorry. Is that the new theme?
Mute yourself, cunt.
Eddie Hearns, Matchroom Sport, Jason Gavin, Audie Raw, Tommy Coyle, Master Dart, Daniel Brizuela, Jojo Dan, Snigger Smig, Eggington, Scott Quigg, Pig Saves, Crusty Nag, Anthony Jetta. Johnny Ryder, Swifty Smith, Tesco Joe, and here comes Jim, Bradley Saunders, Headbutt, Martin Murray, title shot, IFL, fight pass, Kilbrook out there getting slashed, Garrick on his silver title, John Warrington's wedding. We hit and run boxing, it was always fun, it's just the outfit on it. We hit and run boxing, but we only like it, so we're gonna fight it. Jim Watney calling, he don't know a fucking thing. Adam Smith, weird neck, Prince Dad made him cry. Paulie's on the payroll, AJ's on the Nandrolone. Ticket bouts advertised to millions by Sky. Diamond Belt, Unify, every word's a total lie. Trade fights, Brian King, MGM Hearns in the ring. Gallagher, Dog Pound, the RSPCA's come round. Bleed, Mob, next big pod, Rogers out of nose job. It was always fun, it's just the outfit on it. He got to ruin boxing, so we started like it, so we're trying to fight it.
Welcome back to the next big pod. We're joined by Brian King, Macho Grande, no one knows his first name, and a returning member. Some of you will be happy, some of you will be raging. Shep is back. Say hello, Shep.
Hi, everyone.
Get it's Muslims.
He's actually just come on to gloat about last night's attack. He's not here to talk about boxing at all.
It went exactly to plan. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Shep framed a man from Weston-super-Mare. Right, anyway, we're going to start off with Paul Smith because everyone's angry about the Kovalev stoppage. So we thought we'll jump in. We'll get the juices flowing with something we all love to talk about, and that's a Smith failing. I wouldn't even call this world level, to be fair. I would call it just a Euro level, because Zuga's shit. And Paul Smith managed to make him look like... How would you describe he made him look?
Not shit.
What sort of fighter? No, not shit's being too harsh.
I think he made him look like...
He made Zuga look good.
Well, I won't say not good. I actually didn't think he looked that bad anyway. I've kind of thought he looked like a bit of a souped-up version of like a Chilinov maybe or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't think people were saying that Ziga's terrible, but I think he wouldn't disgrace himself against some of the others like ranked super middles.
He's pretty fucking basic. Groves would smash him, and Shep's boy De Gea would smash him. Shep, you run a poll about worst British title challenges, didn't you? You had fucking Jennings versus Cotto. Who else did you have in there? You had Paul Smith and Zuga.
Yeah, no, I messed it up a bit because I didn't put Bellew and Stevenson in because I got loads of replies saying why isn't Bellew in there because that's one of the worst ones recently. I put Jennings and Cotto in, but that was about 10 years ago, wasn't it? It was quite a long time ago, so I should have switched it up. But Smith got, I think there were 800 votes or something, and Smith got 65%, something like that. So about 500 votes. And I think the thing was like, if you look at the other ones I put in were Rose against Andrade, and then who was the other lad who just got absolutely dominated?
Javonte Davis, wasn't it? Liam Walsh,
yeah, Davis against Walsh. But Andrade and Davis are both like arguably elite fighters, whereas Zoiga's like a B level, fringe top 10, and he cruised, didn't he? He was in second gear the entire fight. I had him winning every single round, plus the knockdown.
It bored me to tears, and I was switching because there was 2 hours ongoing that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Paddy Barnes get beat, which unfortunately never happened. So I was flicking in between. So I was watching a minute of Paul Smith just get jabbed in the face, and then I flick over to Paddy Barnes. So I can't really give that much. I watched up until the fourth round, and the third round, Smith caught him, and Zoe just like let their legs dipped a minute, and I was like, oh no, oh no. But then my worries was put to ease because from that point on, he did nothing. The Gallagher game plan, a one-size-fits-all of do nothing up until after 6 rounds. He didn't even do nothing until after 6 rounds either, did he? He was just awful.
I think we were saying, weren't we, in the chat, that he was shit before. Like he was a British title level guy 4 years ago. Now he's over the hill and shit. Like he couldn't pull the trigger, could he, at all? Like he barely.
No, he was.
Yeah, he'd throw one or two punches and then stop. Sorry, Sam.
He appeared to be shot in this. Not that he was very good before either. Like he's never been one for finding openings and punishing people, but he did appear to be shot. He looked like he was punching through treacle as well. He was slow, sluggish.
You called it quite well before that he ain't going to get any better having fought 3 bums in the last couple of years. Like he's not going to be better. He's going to be worse than he was before, and that was pretty much.
Oh no, they say like
pretty much spot on. To be fair,
they say like iron sharpens iron, don't they? And I mean, even in the gym, who's he sparring with? Professor Krusty Neck?
No, he's
not.
He said in that interview, didn't he, that the radio show thing in the week, that he said he does a lot of sparring with Callum, but he said, look, I'm not going in there sort of 100% because it's my brother and I don't want to hurt him, and he doesn't want to hurt me. So it's like, well, you're not really sort of having proper sparring sessions.
He sparred Marcus Morrison as well, I think.
I don't know.
He was sparring Marcus Morrison, whatever his name is. The guy that got ice.
What weight? Is Morrison a middleweight or is he super?
He's super. He's a massive lump, isn't he? I think he's super.
Are you sure he's not a light heavyweight with Burton?
No,
Morrison's 168.
Morrison's a middleweight. I'm sure a super middleweight, but he looks.
All right, let's not talk about Joe's average stable.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Marcus Morrison.
Brian, I'll bring you in because I'm sure you was a happy boy watching this, as you always are when a Smith fails and Gallagher fails. Do you want to give us a rundown? Did you even watch it? Because you don't usually associate with bum fights, do you, sir?
I don't, but this was totally different. Well, you had the picky fucking bum fights at the weekend. You could have turned on Box Nation and you could have watched Sky. It made absolutely fucking no difference. I chose to watch Smith. Weirdly enough, like everybody was nervous, like coming into this fight. I know we were all like, "Oh, the Smith's going to get absolutely dominated. He might get knocked out. He's an absolute bum." But there was a bit in the back of your mind. They've deliberately kind of targeted this guy. What if he is that shite that Smith actually beats him? And then you know how he was in the interviews talking about they already know who they want to fight after this. Like so, it just seemed as if that they were getting some sort of setup here for him to get this belt to maybe fight Groves in a pay-per-view because you know him would try and spin that. So I tried to work out what would be better financially for the Sauerlands. Would it have been better to lose the fighter Zuger, but for Paul Smith to get that belt for them to get money off a pay-per-view fighter? Would it be to just kind of continue to have Zuger win? So it was a tricky one. So we end up getting nervous, just thinking about what if Paul Smith fucking wins it. So I tuned into that. We had Paul Smith getting an interview afore, saying he's going for the knockout, he's trained for the knockout, he's had great sparring, and I know you've made the point that sparring. I've said this before, kind of maybe Ricky Burns, nobody's getting any good, he's not getting anything out of sparring like Kevin Mitchell and that, who were in the gym at the time, maybe little Hara Davis. He's not getting anything out of that because they're all shit and they're all lower level, and it's the same with that gym. They're all best of mates. They're all sparring each other. See, unless you're a right nasty bastard and maybe like the Eastern Europeans, who your best mates would probably still try and knock fuck out. You see, unless you're really, really nasty, you're not going to go full pelt at it. So you're just basically sparring the exact same guys every single time. Granted, they go to California, LA from time to time, but that's no Paul Smith. Imagine Paul Smith going over to LA and fighting a fucking journeyman and get killed. Right, so they're not learning nothing. Joe's not getting any different game plan. There's no getting there that they're going to bring in that's going to do any training, because I don't know whether they may be cheap bastards or not, that they do. You see it in their corner as well. They've all got their team. Fair enough, they're all best of pals. They've got their teammates doing the spit bucket and doing everything else. So it's as if they might be that cheap they don't want to have any money going out, so they don't bring in the sparring partners and so But after the first round, it was just basically like 11. Out of the 12 rounds, the 11 rounds were the exact same. See if you watch the first round, all you do is fast forward to the 11th round, where I thought that Paul Smith won that, but Zoiga's shite. He really is. He's like kind of quick with the jab, but that is basically what it was. It's one of the worst fights I have ever made. Sat and watched. Go on, Sweden. One of the worst fucking fights I've ever watched. It was just so boring, and any decent pressure fighter is going to smash that Zoiga. Any decent guy. And Paul Smith is that short to shit. He couldn't throw a punch. He basically admitted that he could see what Zoiga was doing, but because he was just that wee bit quicker, he could never get his own punch off. That is the definition of a short fighter that knows what's happening but just can't pull the trigger anymore. He was going to, at the end of every round, he was just so dejected, and you could see it, just the life getting sucked right out of him.
Oh, the 12th round with the knockdown was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Paul Smith complaining like it would have made a difference.
Oh, how good was it be when they read out the scorecards and he was fucking raging at the scorecard?
Yeah, you could tell he wanted to get going, but the ref kept hold of his hand. He just wouldn't let him fuck off.
Even in defeat, he was fucking livid.
It's pretty poor, isn't it? Like, he wouldn't, he barely sort of wanted to acknowledge that he'd lost. He wouldn't do an interview after the fight. He didn't go to the press conference after the fight. I mean, surely he's got some sort of obligation, to...
Who does that remind you of? Cotto. But Cotto's at least half decent, so we can get away with it.
I'll tell you what is funny, though.
Yeah. Reminds us of Joe Gallagher.
But, I mean,
Joe Gallagher.
And Paul Smith chucked him under the bus.
An interview if he fucking Cardinal lost. Not one fucking interview.
I think with Cotto, and I'm, not going to defend him, but they were fights where it was semi-competitive, Trout where I think he probably lost about 8-4, didn't he? And the cards were a little bit wide and he was annoyed. And then against Canelo where, again, probably an 8-4 fight and the cards were like 11-1. And to be fair, the cards were a bit of a piss take that night. So I can understand why he was a bit annoyed. It's still, you've got to sort of show a bit of respect. But yeah, I don't know why Smith's allowed to. Well, I mean, we do know why he's allowed to get away with it, but it's just like he's like a fucking child, and you'd think he would have got used to losing. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what I thought was good though was Hearn's interview after, because knowing Eddie Hearn, not like he's a mate of mine or nothing, but knowing he don't take criticism well, especially when it's justified, and he's probably thinking, this cunt, I've made this fight, I've been out there fronting for you, I've been defending for you, and you go and put in that performance. And his interview after on IFL, he just cut Smith loose completely. So he wasn't good enough, never going to win a world title, just absolutely ripped him. And he was fucking raging with that performance.
The guy, Macho, the guy on the German interview or whatever said, like, do you think Paul Smith is done, or will he get another shot at world title level? And then Hearn just went, no, like, absolutely not. Like,
I wonder if Smith has blocked him.
Like, no way.
Imagine if Paul Smith blocked him.
And he's going to block who was it? Fox News, who tweeted that he had a meltdown after he lost.
Oh, that's amazing. Was that not Fox Sports Asia or something like that?
Yeah.
Fox Sports, and then Sky Bet, who said that they didn't count it as a world title. They're getting blocked.
Have we heard from Smith yet? Has he surfaced at all? I've not seen any quotes or anything.
He spoke to fucking Foz. Had this creepy head. Did any read fucking Fozzy's like fucking hatchet job in the Liverpool Echo, like saying that he was robbed in the fucking first Abraham fight, and it just wasn't there for him anymore. He had a great career. I'm like, shut the fuck up, just print a fucking proper story. Why are people so up this ass? You know what it is? See, when people talk about the Smiths, they talk about them as if they're like the fucking mafia, into it. They're fear to say bad about them. Let's get this right. The old man looks as if he's jacked up full of fucking steroids, right? The brother, there's a guy in his 20s with fucking grey hair, big tennis ball fucking head. The other man looks as if he's got fucking skin like leprosy. Paul Smith's just a fat fucking disaster. Paul Smith is the fattest, skinniest guy ever. See, well, honestly, he is like Nate Diaz, and he's doing it at 168, but for some reason he still looks fucking fat. He's a hairy, horrible bastard and all. He makes me fucking sick. Who's the other one? Wee Swifty. I can't really say anything bad about him. I know he was acting like an ass after one of the fights, but for some reason, I quite actually like Stephen Smith.
His opponent, though, was fucking
garbage. Shall we break down Paul Smith's career and pick out the highlight?
No.
It's got to be the Dodson win.
The thing is, I was supporting.
Would you agree?
I was thinking this at the weekend and fucking supporting Paul Smith back then in the Tony Dodson fight. So that must have been roughly. It must have been just roughly after then that I turned against him.
Because anyone half decent and above, he's lost to.
The Abraham's the highlight of his career, isn't it? Because it was close enough that him and his deluded fans can say that he was robbed, and he can claim the moral high ground, even though he wasn't robbed at all. But he can claim he was, and that was the best performance of his career, I think, by quite.
So he's another Brit then whose best win is a loss.
Yeah,
and it was an Abraham that was well over the hill.
Because Abraham not long after went and lost every second of every round to Ramirez, who's also no great shakes.
Yeah, I think I think on one card he did lose every single round, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he lost 121.08 across the board.
Yeah, and he just barely threw. He just covered up, but against Smith he could throw 6 punches around and still do more damage than Smith had done in the 2 minutes 50 seconds up until that point. The rematch was ridiculous. I thought Abraham, in the rematch he was shelling up for 90 seconds at a time, and Smith just couldn't do anything. And I remember thinking he's literally just got a heavy bag in front of him. He can't do a thing. Sorry, I cut someone off there.
Does anyone want to mention how weird he looked on the scales? Because he was gaunt in the face but fat in the body.
He had a fat back. I noticed his back was fat. His back was fat. Really weird. He kind of trained. He must have just trained just to lose weight, or just make the weight.
Well, that's what Sai was telling us, that he's just trained to make the weight.
He couldn't have done anything
like
else.
He'd lost a lot of. He had the big bags under his eyes, didn't he? He looked a bit dehydrated to me.
Go on.
No, crack on.
I was just going to say that the commentary, like Johnny Nelson, like Sky in general. I was thinking about this the other day. Right, they are so bad. Right, so say if you look at the other sports that Sky do really well, Monday Night Football. I know they've got some spastics that do the football, but you've got Carragher, you've got Neville. They do Monday Night Football. They tell you stuff that you don't know. They show you something that you don't see. They've got a big Sky pad. They really educate you. You look at the cricket as well. I'm a cricket casual. But they've got the third eye, they've got the hawk eye. When the captain's setting his field for a batsman, they're telling you why the captain's setting his field and what the plans are and what the bowler's doing. Even the F1, people think it's just driving cars round and round in a fucking circle and the fastest car wins. But they've got Ted Kravitz in the pit lane. They've got Anthony Davis again on their fucking Sky pad. They're telling you about the 150,000 knobs they've got in the fucking car. They're really golf as well, again, with a ball tracker and the flyby for the holes. You watch these sports and the Sky team enhance your enjoyment of watching those sports, and you learn something. And then they go to fucking Johnny Nelson. Come on in, Johnny. Tell me why Paul Smith might win. Tell me why Ziga might win. Tell me what Ziga's good at. Tell me what Paul Smith's good at. Tell me where they're weak. Tell me something. Who do you think's going to win this fight, Johnny Nelson? Give me something. I'm being patriotic. I'm going for the brick. What? That's just fucking ridiculous. And then you've got Jamie Moore going, if this fight happened 5 years ago, Paul Smith would win. Well, fucking that Zyger would have been 19. It's fucking so bad. And I don't know. I think we need to somehow try and get fucking Ed Robinson on here or Andy Clark. We need to get someone on him and say, how the fuck can Johnny Nelson sit there and go, I want the Brit to win. I'm going to be patriotic. That's not your job. Your job is to tell me something that I don't know, give me something to fucking watch and sort of talk me through this fight and educate me through this fight as it's going, not cheerlead. It really fucking pissed me off because every other sport on Sky, they do it really well. I'm sorry about that.
Well, they had a similar thing, didn't they, with the football? I remember maybe it's probably 5 or 6 years ago during one of the World Cups, and I think it was Slovakia or someone like that playing. And the team in the panel, none of them knew any of the Slovakia players. And it was
you're going to say when Hansen's had a dig at Dixon, didn't he? Yeah.
Hansen and Dixon. And Dixon knew one player, and Hansen sort of laughed about it and was like, "Oh, I can't believe you've been reading up on it." And then they got loads of complaints, basically saying it's your job to learn this stuff and then tell the viewers. And I think they should really have made an effort to. Why couldn't they have got a German guy in who'd I don't know, a German fighter who speaks English? I mean, half of them probably speak English, or someone who.
No, fucking Buatsi reading off an auto cue. Whatever his name is.
Yeah, but at least Bunce would have gone on Wikipedia and dug up some stats. You know what I mean? He would have talked about, I don't know, some ludicrous sparring story, you know, about Robin Reed like icing Zoiga or something. But you know, it would have been bollocks. But he would have tried to come up with something. Whereas, yeah, Nelson just sort of shrugged his shoulders and went, "Yeah, whatever. I'm cheering for my mate." And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine if you're in the crowd, but you're getting paid to analyse the fight, and yeah, you're clearly not doing it.
And Jamie Moore didn't.
sorry.
Sorry, no, just saying, Jamie Moore didn't do that through the fight as well. He kept going. He said something like, like these are close rounds, and he's letting, and they're probably going to be scored to Ziga or Zoiga. And I was like, they're not probably being scored to him because he's in Germany and they're close rounds. They're being scored to him because he's fucking winning, and he's countering fucking Paul Smith's fucking 0.5 mile an hour jab with his own jab, and you know, throwing the straight right hand, and Paul Smith's not doing anything. But why can't they just tell us that? It's just, it fucking enrages me, because I've never seen that Ziga. I've seen him once and I don't even remember it. And I was like, well, you know, give me something, tell me something. And it's just fucking terrible. It's really fucking bad.
To be honest,
I'm not a wordsmith, but Jamie Moore can barely speak. He can barely string a sentence together on commentary. It's horrible to listen to.
The funny thing is, Carp, do you remember in the chat a week ago, or whatever, I was saying that I was watching the De Gale Smith fight from, when was that, 6 years ago, whatever it was. And Moore was commentating on that for Sky. And it was exactly the same as Saturday night. It was him basically spending the first 6 rounds just hoping Paul Smith would win. And then the last 3 rounds saying like, oh, Paul's going to have to produce a big finish. Oh, I think this is close. And then suddenly gets knocked out and Moore acts like really surprised. And yeah, you had it right at Bellew as well on Twitter on Saturday night. You know, right up until the end, he was saying like, believe me, Smith is going to have a big finish here. And then it ended and he went like, and it was like, no, mate, you can't just switch it like that. You know, you've got to be vaguely consistent when you're breaking this down. But again, they're just fans, aren't they? They're just fans of certain fighters. They don't care about the sport. They don't.
Do you know what?
But they've got a job to educate. Their job is like, yeah, you're talking about ground and sport and stuff. It's their job to educate. Their job is to tell us something that we don't know. Give us something. Like they just, it's just always.
That's what you get for Barry Jones and Paulie Malignaggi.
Paulie Malignaggi is excellent, but what another thing that he said that really pissed me off? He went, Smith's the older man and Zoiga's the younger man. Well, no fucking shit. One's like 34, one's 24. Like, what the fuck? Of course, I mean, I'm not stupid. I can fucking read. You know, give me something. Give me something to keep my eye on. But it's just, we need to get, honestly, we need to try and get Ed Robinson in here. He won't come on, but we need to get someone in here and ask them why they're such fucking spastics.
Sorry. Well, like you say about the other sports, you're guaranteed quality with everything else. With the golf, you have the same players turn up all the time. With the tennis, you have the same players. F1, same grid lineup. Football, you get good games every week. With boxing, it's not in their interest to educate you because you can go from a really good card to something piss poor.
No, but still, in all those
you
sports,
don't want people to know the difference.
They can. In all those sports, they will analyse what's going on in real time. And give you information, give you, Neville and Carragher are fucking great. They give you stuff that you don't see. The golf is the same. They tell you, what iron they're using, what he's thinking, what he's trying to do. And the same with F1. They talk to you about the strategy. Ted Kravitz in the fucking pit lane. They give you something. They could easily do that with boxing over a 12-round fight. They could. Paulie Malignaggi's done it really well in, I thought, the Kovalev war fight. Just dropping in little bits of information about what each guy's trying to do and talking to you about what was going on during the rounds. Where these cunts, Sky, the Brit guys, they don't do anything. They don't tell you anything.
I will say, sorry, Brian, just quickly on Macho's point. I think there's kind of levels to it, isn't there? Because Paulie is very good when he's working on Sky because he doesn't have ties to any of the fighters, But I'm sure, I can guarantee, though, if Paulie had to commentate on an Eggington fight in the future, he would be bigging Eggington up because he's been beaten by him, And fighters always have that kind of bias.
Paulie's reverse, man. He shits on Porter all the time.
He was cheating, though, right? What I mean is he's got an agenda, and you couldn't. Let's say Sky got a Pacquiao fight. If you put Paulie as a commentary on that, it'd be a disaster because he's got a personal agenda. Whereas if you put Paulie on Floyd against McGregor, he's going to break it down really, really well and actually be honest with the viewers. But I think the best people on this are HBO because Roy Jones is phenomenal at pointing stuff out. I mean, we'll get onto the main fight in a minute, but he said in about round 4 that he thought Ward would have might have a shot at the knockout in the main event. And, the other commentators were sort of quite surprised by that. He sees things very early because like Paulie,
it's fucking short shit as well.
Yeah, no, but he sees things that, like Macho was saying, he sees things that the average guy on the sofa doesn't see, and that's all you want. All you want is I don't want a guy who's really articulate and can use sort of fancy words or beautiful sentences. I want a guy who tells me stuff that I can't see for myself. And Roy does that, but whenever it's a Jones-trained fighter or someone who's affiliated with Jones, he's either removed from commentary for that fight, they take him off, or Lampley will very specifically say, we should point out that Roy Jones has worked with or like shares a gym with or whatever it is, or used to train. And he used to do you remember Jones trained Jesse Vargas for a couple of fights?
Mm-hmm.
After that, Vargas was on HBO and Lampley kept saying, I just want to point out to the viewers that Roy Jones has worked with Jesse Vargas and they are close friends. So please, take that for what it's worth. And Jones was pretty impartial, but Lampley said, like, look, I've got a responsibility here to make sure the viewers know that you two are friends. Whereas Sky just don't seem to have any kind of sort of sense of responsibility when it comes to stuff like that. And it's weird because, you think if a guy was like best mates with the guy in the ring, the viewers deserve to know that. And the average person won't have known that Jamie Moore and Paul Smith are really good mates. And they'll just assume that Moore's being honest. And it just paints this really warped sort of myopic view of the sport. And it doesn't help. And I don't think it wins over any new fans either, because they can see they're being lied to.
Well, they're not learning anything, are they? Boxing ain't about a couple of guys just punching each other in the face. Just like football ain't about just kicking a ball around. It's not that simple. F1's not about just driving a car around really, really fast. There's way more to it. It's not called the sweet science for nothing. And they don't tell you about it. And that's why people just think it's just geezers punching each other in the head. It fucking does my nuts in. It really does.
Yeah, and then you get a really average fight, and you've got the Sky team telling you how well someone's doing, and you look at it and think, wait a minute, if this is a really good fight, then I'd hate to see what a bad fight looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like football, isn't it? With Super Sundays or like those Tuesday night games where Sky say it's like the clash of the season, and it's like West Ham versus Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? And it's a 1-1 draw, and you've got all the commentators sort of talking about how sensational a night of football it is, and eventually you just sort of tune out, like the SPL. They always say it's always see adverts saying that it's good, and then we know it's the worst league, arguably in Europe.
Just quickly before we. Sorry, go on, Brian.
I can remember Paul Smith being like on the panel at Sky one time, and they asked him who he thought would win, and his exact words were, and I'm not paraphrasing here, is I'm going to be biased because I'm friends with him, so I'm picking him. There was absolutely no fucking analysis whatsoever. It was just basically, I'm his mate, I'm picking him.
It was like Luke Campbell v Mendy when he said, "Oh, I hope fucking they rob him." That was fucking outrageous.
Yeah, he said I've got Mendy winning, but I hope they give it. Yeah, and wasn't it a go-go as well that night where they went, who have you got winning after about 6 rounds or whatever? And it was really close, but Mendy was probably just in front. And he went, to be honest, I've got Luke clearly ahead. And then he didn't give a score. And it was like, what? What the fuck is that? That's like, someone in football saying like, oh yeah, I think this team are dominating when they're 3-0 down. It's just mental. I don't know how.
To be fair, if they asked the go now and he give a wrong score, you could give him the benefit of the doubt because he's partially blind now.
Poor bastard. Just quickly before we're probably going to move on, I was really disappointed.
It's his fucking job. I don't give a fuck.
It sounded like you were yelling at someone in your house, Brian.
Oh, fuck him. He's got another eye. As I said before, look, he's got 2 eyes. There is no need to have 2 if you use one. So, right, only go.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I was really disappointed that we didn't get the Paul Smith interview after, because I wanted to see him raging, and Coogan wasn't even out there. I don't know, they had that German guy out there. So Shep, just if you do,
this is IFL Germany.
Shep, if you can do us a favour, if hypothetically speaking, if Coogan Cassius was out there and he was interviewing Paul Smith, what would that sound like?
This is Coogan Cassius from London 5,000 with MTK Global. I'm here with 4-time world level challenger, the real gone kid, Paul Smith Jr. Tonight, Paul, put it into words for us. He'd say something like that, wouldn't he? He'd say, put it into words for us, instead of actually pressing Paul on.
Get on with the impression.
No, I just did it. Fuck off.
And yeah, but he's interviewing Paul Smith. I want to hear what
I
Paul
can't
Smith
do
is.
Smith.
He can't do it, Paul
You can
Smith.
do
He
Smith.
doesn't. He does a generic
I
Scouser.
can't really do Scouser, honestly.
Yeah, he does it for everyone. Like Bellew's the same as Paul Smith
I can
or
do
Liam
Alex,
Smith. They all sound the same.
Calm down.
You've killed us there. You've killed the segment, Shep.
I
just
can't
said-
do Smith.
Right.
Mate. I can only do Bellew. Genuinely.
Right, let's move on to Kovalev then. We're giving Paul Smith too much time.
No. Just before we move on to Kovalev, like, it's
Blow
like
your
in a
fucking
perverse
nose.
way. I'm fucked, man. I'm totally choked up. Kill yourself, you fucking bam. In a perverse way, I don't want Paul Smith to retire. I want him to keep going.
It's a lot of fun when he fights. I love it. The rage before and being scared in case he wins. But, it's got a big fight feel to it. Yeah, keep going.
So what about like him trying to win the British outright? Because he never ever done it. Why not him try and get the winner of fucking Rocky Fielding? Like, I'd take that. Him the winner of Fielding like Jamie Cox. I'd take that, no problem.
Why don't we put him in that Super 6 thing?
Cox needs to go in that.
He gets more world title challenges and he gets beat by every single one of them.
No, because he gets to fucking pay off his debt bill. Fuck that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We don't want that.
Don't know
Right,
if
we
we're allowed
done
to
on
say
Smith
that,
then?
Ollie. I got suspended for saying that.
Saying what?
Saying about Paul Smith owing Warren money. I got suspended for 12 hours.
Did you?
Yeah, do you remember last week? That was what I got suspended for. Literally a tweet saying Smith's fighting to pay back Frank Warren. Everyone knows this. And I tagged Hearn and Smith in, and someone reported me.
So what about if he keeps carrying on, he just doesn't want to stop. He's not got the heart for it. I don't think he could do like a training camp again to get down to 168, even though his body was a pure mess. But if he carries on, he wants to fight at 168. I would happily get him the winner of the fucking Ryder or Fielding. Oh no, Ryder. Jamie Cox, or even like fuck him in with Benavidez. What about that? That'd be fucking funny to watch, wouldn't it? Benavidez would kill him.
You want a clean death?
Oh, who's a big puncher? Who's a big puncher at like super middleweight? They're all at 175, aren't they?
Groves already starched him once, didn't he? You get Groves to do it again.
So did he?
Yeah, he gets beat by everyone, so he doesn't need to be a big puncher, really.
We want a high risk, low reward fight for him. We don't want him to get decent money. We just want him to get fucking done in.
Do you remember that little Argentinian that Callum Smith fought?
Brizuela.
No,
not him.
Callum Smith on the when was it, in the spring or last year?
Oh, the welterweight.
Remember that tiny little guy that was about 5'10" or whatever, and Smith's 6'5" or whatever he is.
Went about 7-8 rounds. That one.
Yeah, I reckon that guy might beat Paul Smith.
Oh, that's a good point. What about who's Katagi?
Oh, he'd smash.
Oh yeah, Jorge Kuhagi.
He's Katagui is how you pronounce it. And he's getting the rematch with Durrell, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why don't we pitch a TV series and we just send Paul Smith around the world to fight journeyman and see what level he actually is? Like we'll send him to Mexico to fight some Mexican bums. He'll get beat by them. Then we'll send him somewhere obscure, like somewhere with no boxing at all.
Cyprus.
Send him to a country where they don't have any middleweights. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the Philippines or somewhere where there's like 2 middleweights in the whole country.
Send him to like Nicaragua or something where he has to fight a flyweight. He has to fight like Gonzalez or something, and he'll still get beat.
I remember a pod a few years ago basically said that they should get Rigo in with. They should put Rigo in with a guy like Brandon Rios because they honestly reckon he might be able to beat him, despite the size difference. So Smith should do the opposite. They should put Smith in with like a skilled 100. Like put Smith in with a guy like Crawford. Do you know what I mean? And I reckon Smith might get stopped on cuts genuinely by a 140-pounder.
Shit, you'll know this because you're at it. You'll know who's the. Is it Hecky Butler, the 105?
Yeah, minimum
weight. Yeah, South Africa. Why don't we put Paul Smith in with Hecky Butler? See if he wins.
You could put Butler in with Stephen Smith. He might win.
I think Kurtzidze would kick fuck at Paul Smith, and he's about 5'2".
Well, he put him in a grave. Add it to the other souls he's taken.
But would it not be good like, if fucking Paul Smith just keeps fighting on? He keeps getting on Sky for an amusement. Like, like a bit of a freak show. Like, like a fucking Saturday night, you're like, I just want a wee bit of fucking filth. And you stick on there and Paul Smith's getting his cunt kicked in. Fast forward to here, and he sounds like James Toney or fucking Melvin Taylor, Meldrick Taylor. It'd be fucking magic, that, wouldn't it? Just fucking give him a straw to drink.
Do we want Smith to retire then, or do
No.
we want him to?
I definitely
fight
don't.
someone like Cox or Murray.
I'd like
He
him.
said-
I'd like him to fight Murray. That's a good fight. I'd like that fight.
Did you see in the week that he said, "I'm not going to retire until I will win a world title"? He basically was saying, like, "I'm going to keep going." And to be honest, he seems like the sort of person who's deluded and arrogant enough that he genuinely will think he can get a fourth shot.
Well, normally when they lose, they'll get a new title and move up in weight. So he might decide to step up. That'd be brilliant.
He did look cool.
Yeah.
What would Paul Smith be? Gavoznik?
Bivol.
No, that Bivol. Put him in with Bivol, yeah.
Or Beterbiev.
Oh, fuck me, man.
Right, should we go on to Kovalev then?
You know who I would like? Paul Smith versus, I know he's retired, but fuck it, bring him back. Big Oval McKenzie. Just fuck him in there. That'd be a decent fight, that. McKenzie would kill him. Like clean him.
That'd be a cruiser though, wouldn't it?
McKenzie can make 175. He's not a big cunt.
Paul Smith can't make 175. You see the size of him.
Ed struggles.
Paul Smith's going to have to get a cruiserweight, and I think the only challenge out there for him would be. Should we put him with Usyk?
Perez on a pay-per-view.
Hearn would do that.
I could see that. I could see
They
that.
don't like it.
Kudryashov, done.
Kudryashov fight, mate. Smith might actually win that fight.
What about Paul Smith versus who's that fucking heavyweight that's always in classic fights, man? He done 10 years for murder or some shit. Who is he? He's about 42, 43. No, not that mad cunt. He's even. No, the other guy that fucking fought. The guy that.
Galotta. You mean Galotta?
No, he fought. He fought Bruzuela and nearly fucking. Mine, he butt through his tongue.
Oh, well, fuck, what's his name? It was Brazil, not Bruzuela. And
Amir Mansour.
Aye, him.
Yeah, Mansour, that's the one.
Paul Smith here, Amir Mansour.
Amir Mansour's probably shorter, to be fair. He's probably got shorter arms. Alex, we were just saying, do you know what? I actually felt a bit sorry for Smith because, he wasn't in shape, was he? You know, clearly can't get in shape anymore. He had those little white socks on, like he was a new kid at school, you know, going to gym. And his shorts looked a little bit too small. His shoes looked a bit too small. And you know, Hearn just clearly didn't really give a shit. I'm surprised Hearn actually went out to Germany for it. I'm surprised he bothered.
Well, he went out there.
Well, he went out because Sauerland there was some shit going around.
Yeah, the deal.
You know, just want to mention quickly with Joe Gallagher. We're going to have to change his name from Tesco because Tesco is a bit too upmarket for him now. Like he's got loss after loss after loss, and his only win is a headbutt. I reckon we should call him
Enron Gallagher.
Food Bank Joe.
Joe.
Soup Kitchen Hobo Joe.
0 hours Gallagher.
Sports Direct Joe.
Ethiopian Joe.
0 hours Gallagher. That's
Northern Rock.
Right. Yeah.
Austerity Joe.
And that's another thing as well. Going back to those Sky cunts, when there's a cricket captain does something fucking wrong, or a manager picks the wrong team, wrong tactics, they'll fucking go after them. No cunt said anything about fucking Gallagher. Every single fight, they fight the same way, the same tactics. They lose, and then no one questions him. No one.
He gets brushed off because they say, "Oh, well, they're never in fights. They're expected to win." We're not expecting them to win. We're expecting them to put up a fight. Crawler had 24 rounds against Linares to do something, and in the second 12, he was worse than he was in the first 12. There's a reason for that, and it's fucking Food Bank Joe.
Yeah, and I think
the same thing.
There's every reason to think that. I know he's not with Gallagher anymore, but if Quigg and Frampton had a rematch, there's every reason to think that Frampton would win more conclusively because he would have seen what Quigg could do. I know the comparison doesn't really stand up, but you've got. I mean, you think a guy like. I don't know. I feel like Callum's going to get figured out as well eventually.
Brian started calling him Spotty Scott Quigg. I don't know if you feel that's apt or not.
That's the right way.
Krusty Neck's a pretty good nickname for him.
Callum's a waste, man, because it doesn't even matter if he is the goods. He ain't when he does finally step up and fight Darrell, whenever that is in September. You can't, as Carpy said about Portsmouth, you can't not fight for 2 years and just spar your brother in like touch sparring, and then going to be as good as he could be. Like just an absolute fucking waste. And I'm with you, Carp. With Shep, you reckon that he hates Hearn. I totally believe that as well.
I don't think Callum likes Hearn at all, and that's why I think Hearn has done so many favours for the family. Because I just get his body language when he's around Hearn. I just don't think he likes him. I don't think he buys the bullshit like some of the others do, and that's why Hearn's had to sort of bend over backwards for that, Jim.
Well, in the Darrell fight, my man Liam Lawson's going to do a fan man, just come out of nowhere and evaporate the arm. Family on family battle.
But yeah, Macho, you're right. Like he's giving himself the worst possible chance to win by not fighting anyone and not preparing properly.
And 168
You know what I mean?
is stacked with decent guys. I'm not talking about elite world level. It's stacked with like decent opposition, that will give you a good workout. And there's just fucking no excuse for the dross that he. I think Paul Smith has 3 world title fights in the time that he won an eliminator. I mean, that's how fucking bad it is. It's fucking appalling.
We were saying, weren't we? I literally think we said on the pod about a year ago that someone like that Porky Medina would be perfect for Callum Smith as a like step up before world level. And then what happens? Benavidez gets him, 20-year-old, knocks him out in 8 rounds or whatever. And now Benavidez at 20 is better prepared than Callum Smith, who's like 6 years older. And it's just, he like you say, he's wasting the chance that he does have, and he's making it harder for himself. It's stupid.
And I'd give you some people to think about sparring is every bit as good. I disagree, but if you've got good sparring, fair enough. But we know he's not getting good sparring either.
And and all the good light heavies are all the good 168s and around that kind of neighborhood. They're all in America. All the Ukrainian guys have gone over to the States, but Smith just sits there in Bolton, probably sparring Martin Murray. And like once a month, and then sparring his fucking fat brother. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Right, are we done then? So we finally go on to Kovalev because we spent ages talking about Smith, Gallagher, and they don't deserve the attention from a great pod like ourselves.
Do the undercard for Kovalev.
Who wants? No, we'll go straight onto the main event. We'll go on to Rigo after. Who wants to start? Matthew, do you want to start? Because no one else is going to agree with you here. So it'll be like 5-on-1.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Well, just before you start, I just want to say, fuck Skint Toby and Old Man Scouse. Get it fucking right up the perries, you ball bags.
Right. So, yeah, I thought. Well, where'd you start?
Well, do the fight, and then we'd argue about the stoppage after, because that was fun.
It was kind of going back to what I said in the last week's pod. I did think that it would be really nip and tuck. I thought both guys would be better. They'd both step up a level, having fought each other before that, and it would be tight. I mean, the fights. There's no combinations in the fight really. It's pretty much all single shots. I was a little bit worried for Ward when it started because I thought Kovalev seemed to smother him quite well. Seemed to kind of stalk him and take his space away from him. And I was a little bit worried that Ward looked a bit. He looked a bit anxious and he looked a bit nervy. And I thought one thing I did notice was Kovalev. This time he elected to work on the inside. In the first fight, he just didn't do anything. But he was trying to work. He was trying to grapple. He was trying to punch. But I think ultimately that's what drained him. I think he used so much energy on the inside trying to get shots off, and Ward's quite sneaky with his body work as well. I thought that eventually done for him. But no. Yeah, Kovalev win the first 3. The third round I wasn't too sure about, but then it's what I said last week. You can give. I would back Ward to to give the first 3 rounds up and come back and win. I just don't think Kovalev, if the roles were reversed, he couldn't do it. He's not as good a boxer as Ward was, and it's just little things he does. I said last week about the punch variation. I mean, the amount of times he threw that chopping right hand, because Ward ducks, doesn't he? Ducks down when you come in. And Golovkin does it as well. They seem to go for so many power punches. They overextend and punch right through the target. It always looks like they're trying to kill people. And he doesn't really. I don't think he varies it up as much. And eventually, as the fight wore on, I just thought Ward got comfortable. He got the distance. He started picking his jab. And quite early in the fight as well, he was landing 1-2 combinations to the body, just slowly chopping him down, slowing him down. And then I thought from around 5-6 onwards, he took over. And then we'll get to the stoppage later. that was pretty much it.
Does anyone want to pick him up on anything he said?
I just want to say, I think I had Kovalev 2 up, or 1 or 2 up when it was stopped.
I didn't 1 up when he was stopped. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, we won't talk about the stoppage yet, but I just want to say, I think it's a real shame that we are not. Imagine if the first fight had gone to Kovalev and then you had this rematch. Imagine how good the third fight would be, the build up to that. And it's a real shame that we've, no one's really interested in the third fight now, and I think rightly so. It'd be pretty boring. But it's a real shame that it's not 1-1 and we're not getting an amazing third fight, because I think the build up and the anticipation for that could be really special if we were getting that, end of the year or early next year or whatever. And I thought about that this morning, and I thought, what does Kovalev do now? What does Ward do now? And I don't think Stevenson will fight either of them. So it's just a shame, because I think a trilogy would have been perfect.
I think there's still money in a trilogy. We've not had a definitive answer. You could, I'm a Ward fan. I thought he won the first fight, 1-1-4, 1-1-3, and
you not watched it then?
Yeah, I watched it a couple of times, and we'll get to the stoppage later. But there's still an argument both ways that neither guy's won, or Ward hasn't won either of the first two definitively. I still think there's money in a rematch. I don't think it's going to happen though, and I think those comments about stepping up to fight Joshua or moving up in weights, I think that's very much him saying to Kovalev, "Don't even bother, it ain't happening." Which is a shame.
I think Ward needs to go for legacy stuff now, doesn't he? A third fight would be great, and to win, to have 3-0 on the record. But if he can win a title at cruiser or heavy, that's
getting in with Bellew
territory, isn't it? Because he's already Hall of Fame, definitely. He's already one of the top sort of 3 or 4 guys of this generation, definitely. So now he needs to do a Roy Jones, doesn't he, and go up to that sort of the highest possible plane. And I say go for it. I'd love to see him fight someone like Usyk or whoever. But sorry, we're digressing. Someone needs to talk about the stoppage.
No, I don't really want to talk about the stoppage. I just want to say, do you think Kovalev was mentally broken in that fight more than physically?
No.
No, I thought it was physically. I think he was definitely badly hurt. And then obviously some of the shots were legal, some weren't. He was definitely hurt legally, no question at all.
Oh, of course,
whether he was finished off illegally. But I don't know about mentally.
I think he was physically. I think the inside. Honestly, if you go back and watch it, he was putting in a lot of effort. He's not used to it because I'm not a minute saying controversial. I think Kovalev's a bit of a bully. I do rate him. I do think he's legit world level. But when things are going his way and he's a bigger man, he's a stronger man, he's absolutely fine. And you saw that in the first 3 rounds of the first fight, first 3 rounds of the second fight. But when things start to turn a little bit, he does start to lose his way. He does start to unravel.
Well, we saw that he's not as mentally.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by mentally broken. When it wasn't going his way, he didn't fold. He didn't fold, but the tide definitely turned once he wasn't having it his own way.
Yeah, Ward is mentally stronger. There's no debate. I think Ward is as mentally strong as anyone we've probably ever seen in our lifetimes, right? I think that's always been one of his strengths. That's what got him through the first fight after such a bad start. Same as Floyd, isn't it? He's a guy who can stay in the zone and stay calm at all times. Copy, I don't know if you saw this the other day, but there was a really good quote from Ward.
Is it the one you tweeted? Because if it was, I did see it.
Oh, you saw it, okay. But let me just read a line out. I thought it was really, really interesting. He said, "I always felt Kovalev's biggest mistake was going to be arrogance. He couldn't fathom that I was going to hurt him. And when they asked him about me having the power to stop him, he laughed, and he just wasn't ready for it." And Ward said, "Anyone can be hurt, anyone can be stopped. You always have to have a sober mind when you enter a fight like that." And I think that's very true and sort of quite wise words. And maybe Kovalev was a bit not overconfident, but kind of a bit too sort of one-track minded going in, maybe.
But this is the thing, he can't make. It's the adjustments as well. It's a good comparison with Floyd, because you look at Lomachenko, Ward, Floyd, they can figure shit out for themselves. They figure it out in the ring. Kovalev, I don't think, can do that.
He's never really had to before, has he?
No, he hasn't.
And that's something that, like you say, Floyd has many times. Like, you can say he had to figure stuff out against Chino, against
Mosley.
Mosley, against what's his face? Not Corrales, Castillo. And even earlier on.
Even Hatton, he had to figure stuff out, because the first 6 rounds of that was semi-competitive.
Yeah, he got dirty, didn't he? He got the elbow.
Hatton would have won if Joe Cortez hadn't fucked him. Right?
No. I want to say quickly that how did you score the first 4 rounds? Because I had it 3-1. The first round I give to Ward was the fourth, But to
so
get the
same here.
get to 3 round advantage, Kovalev was having to work a lot harder this fight than he did in the first fight. The first sort of 6 rounds he was on easy streak last fight, but this one he was working from the first round, and I think again that led to the stamina issues that made a problem later on, as well as the body shots. He just had to work a lot harder to get the same level of success.
He was trying to smother him early. You could see it. He was
Yeah.
he was quicker on his feet. He was cutting the ring off quicker, and he was trying to. And I was a bit worried at first. The first 2 rounds.
I think there was a lot of emphasis rightly put on the judges and all the rest of it after the controversy of the first fight. And I think that Kovalev probably thought, if I'm going to, get a good start, I need a good start, obviously. I can't let Ward get into a rhythm. And in order to get a good start, I'm going to really need to dominate these rounds. And I think, like you say, he put a lot of effort into the first third of the fight. And you could see, it was about round 5, wasn't it? When you could just see that he was tiring and Ward was getting into it.
But there was a lot of body work. If you go back and watch it again,
Yeah.
it was the only time that people threw combos was like legit combos from the outside. It was Ward, and he'd throw a right hook, left hook, straight right, left hook. He'd done it a few times, 1-2 to the body. It was the only time anyone really threw like proper combinations. It was single shots, and he did. It slowed him down, and he did break him down. And Kovalev, he did start throwing up distress signals before the stoppage. He was looking at the ref. He was, there was a legal punch to the body in, I think it was round 7, and he sagged to the floor, and Tony Weeks went, just carry on, but Ward didn't jump in. Ward just stood there and went, what? And Kovalev was bitching and moaning. Like he started to send up distress signals, I thought, that he wanted, not wanted out, but he wasn't happy.
I watched that shot back a few times, and look, I'll criticise the stoppage, but that shot was borderline. I don't think it was a low blow. So I do agree with you on that. I think that was Kovalev kind of it was a sort of warning sign, wasn't it, for what was coming? And I'm seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, Kovalev's glass to the body or whatever. Everyone's glass to the fucking body. What does that even mean? People don't have iron bodies.
Oh no, Andy Patterson called it before everyone else, mate. So just get it right.
Because
Brian,
because Ward, exactly. Ward can take liver shots all day, but Kovalev can't. Yeah. Nonsense.
Brian, you're going to see this differently to Matthew, obviously, and probably me and Shep as well. You hate Ward probably as much as you hate Smith. Is that right to say?
No, I don't. I used to be a fan of Ward, but it's just
Don't worry about that. Tell us about the fight. I want to hear your breakdown of the fight.
You thought Frogs would beat Ward.
I can't help. I did pick Frogs to fucking beat Ward. He's just a horrible fucking human being. You know what? You know what I don't like about him is the fact that he keeps preaching he's some sort of fucking massive Christian. Funny, and the way he fucking treats people is the total opposite of what a Christian act says. And I'm not going to pontificate here and make out I'm anything that I'm not, but he's just a pure cunt, and he tries to act as if he's like this totally nice guy. I would love nothing more for him to fucking die. I absolutely fucking despise the ground I walk on. But I went back and watched the fight the day, right? When you've got a bit of a clearer head, because like, when you watch it yesterday, you're absolutely fucking seething, aren't you, because of the referee decision. But see, because I knew what was coming, I kind of was able to watch the rounds so I could see more what was happening, right? And I don't agree that let's see the way people talk like Kovalev is absolutely. They make out as if he was totally out on his feet. Like get into that 8th round, he was absolutely fucked. Every fucking round was so competitive. Maybe it looked as if person that looks as if he's kind of blown clean out his arse. But see that 7th round, it was fucking like touch and go who was getting that round, mate. And I gave it to Ward, right? But it was competitive. And the 8th round was competitive until that shot. There was a fucking beautiful right hand. He put every bit of leverage into it, and like Kovalev was seriously hurt. But don't tell me this like Kovalev was fucked and he was exhausted and he was going to go anyway. My point on like the way people kind of make now here is if like Kovalev is probably going to get back to the to see if
hang on 1 second, Brian. They do say boxers. It's one thing they always tell us in the gym when you spar. When you are hurt, when you are tired, you've got to do everything you can to make sure your opponent doesn't know that, doesn't sense it, doesn't feel it, don't give up. And the thing is, so you could tell, and Shep's right, from round 4 or 5, he was tired, but he's a pro boxer, he's an elite boxer. They are good at hiding it. But there's no way, even though you're right, he was competitive, there's no way anyone can say that he wasn't fading, and he wasn't starting to feel it. He fucking
faded
was.
as bad as people were making out. But that fight totally changed on one fucking punch. One punch it totally changed on. It's not as if like he was fucked and it was just a matter of time that it was getting stopped. It was just one punch, which was a great punch. But I'll tell you. But,
did you give Ward 5, 6, and 7?
I didn't give him. I don't think I gave him 7.
I didn't give. I gave Kovalev 6.
Shocking. Anyway, carry on.
No, you're fucking.
I think I gave Ward 3 rounds up until then, Macho. I think.
I gave
Brian, just quickly before you go on, I just want to say, completely agree with you. The argument that he would have won anyway, Kovalev was on his way to getting stopped, that is completely irrelevant. He would have done this anyway in my hypothetical time machine world where I can see the future. It's completely irrelevant.
That's bollocks. That's bollocks, and I'll get to that after Brian finishes the point. That's bollocks.
No, the referee stops it based on what's happening right then. He doesn't stop it based on, I think he's going to get knocked out anyway, so I'll just wave it off. Otherwise, every single mismatch, this guy's going to get knocked out. All right, wave it off after 2 seconds then. You know he's going to get knocked out. You've got a time machine. Okay, just wave it off.
Just remind me about this time machine stuff, because I'm not having that. Brian, sorry, mate, carry on. I'm not having that at all.
Sorry, Brian, go on. Sorry.
Right, so I watched it from the beginning again, and what I found was I was maybe a bit more hypercritical than I should have been with regards to Ward and the clinching, right? It wasn't so much. It was just a lot of the time it was just kind of coming together. But Ward does initiate like this holding. It is his forte. It's what he'll do. He'll throw a punch and he'll automatically fucking try and get a hold of somebody. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Morning. Ward was far better than I gave credit for. The way that, but so was Kovalev. I think the two of them were far better than people are giving credit for. Like, people are kind of talking down Kovalev now because what happened in the 8th round. That I think they're deliberately doing it, and it's maybe it's a go-to reaction because fuck him, he's a quitter. I seen people saying he quit. He did. You slag Brook. It's totally fucking opposite. See if Kovalev went and took a fucking knee and didn't go up. That is a fucking quit. He took a punch to the fucking balls, and he was hurt because of it. Kell Brook did not even get punched and quit. He did. Look, I can remember the fucking round specifically. Brook did not get punched. He backed off because he knew he was struggling and just took a fucking knee. There was no punch to fucking initiate. Right, so
hang on. Where is this fucking big Russian hard man who kills people in the ring? All this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to destroy him, I'm going to take him out. He can't hurt me, he can't do this, he can't do that. He was fucking running, clinging on for fucking dear life from a blown up fucking super middleweight that couldn't punch at 168 pounds.
But I don't understand. Like, just because you can't punch, mate, it's absolutely irrelevant. If you hit some cunt as sweet as he hit him, it doesn't matter if you're a fucking punch like Robin Dean. If you hit somebody with that amount of leverage on that exactly in the spot that he hit him, we've seen fucking Ricky Burns can't punch, and we've seen him hurt people. If you hit somebody in a specific way, right at the fucking a good spot, you're going to hurt him. I mean,
hang on a minute. But I think where the quick talk is coming from, and a good talking point is round 7. He hits him with a body shot, which was a legit body shot, and he starts bitching and crying. But where was he? And people have linked it, have compared it to Hat and Zoo. Someone hits you in the bollocks, you go back and hit him back. Where was he?
No.
Hang on a minute. Where was he biting down on his gumshoe, going, "This cunt, I'm going to fucking get you"? And that's why I think people were saying that he started to go, you know what, I'm fucking getting beaten. I'm fucked. There's nothing I can do. He did he went out of a whimper, mate. There's no doubt about it.
No, I'll tell you what he exactly done. And as I said this yesterday, what he done was exactly what Lomachenko done after the Salido fight. Anytime he fucking was getting a dodgy punch, you watch Lomachenko's fights, he will complain about everything because he got absolutely fucking no protection in that Salido fight. Right? And you know what Kovalev did? Kovalev probably thought, this goes to the cards again, I'm not going to get a decision. So see, anytime there's a borderline punch, I'm going to fucking make sure the referee knows about it.
But bro, if the referee's not doing anything,
deal with it.
Yeah, just fucking whack him back in the bollocks. Just if Ward's getting away with it, Kovalev should try it, and then if Kovalev gets pulled up on it, then
sorry,
you should do what you can get away with, and if Ward's getting away with it, of course he's going to carry on doing it. That's not right or wrong. If the ref's not pulling him up on it, and Ward does it again and again, and he's getting away with it, he's going to do it some more. Kovalev should have marched over there and whacked him back in the dick himself, but he didn't. That's on Kovalev. That I'm not saying it's right that he got fouled, but Kovalev should have got dirty himself. If you're getting punched in the dick and the ref's doing fuck all, why do you not go over there and do it back? That's what Hatton did.
Yeah, but didn't Hatton get a point off for doing it?
Fucking matter.
Yeah, but still, he went over and fucking roughed him up.
He's telling him you ain't going to get away with it.
Close. You're having a rematch with a guy that was.
You know full well what Ward's going to do. He's the best with his head in the game. You have to fight dirty with him. If he's going to get away with all this shit, then you try and do it back.
And this ain't some pussy. This is like this fucking you guys. Everyone, I was looking at people's pound for pound list. People had him right at the top of the pound for pound list in the top 3. This guy that killed Pickwood in the ring. He fucking eats nails and he fucking chews on broken glass and he's the fucking hardest puncher in the world and he's a legit killer. He's the most meanest bastard in the whole boxing. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He got a little love tap to the fucking belt line. And what did he do? He fucking shat it. He didn't go, fuck this cunt, I'm going to get him. He absolutely shat it.
See what you're saying? This is exactly why I didn't want to do a podcast, because see, Ward fans, there is no fucking in between here. It's just either fucking an extreme or the total opposite. He did not fucking shit it. Where the fuck did he shit it? He get punched in the fucking balls.
We're not even got to the stoppage yet. No, we're not talking about that. The stoppage before that.
The fight wouldn't have get fucking stopped if he didn't get punched in the fucking balls.
Let's do this let's do this scientifically. So set your arguments out, and then we'll do a back and forth. Because I think I don't entirely agree with either of you. I think I mainly agree with Brian, but not completely. So Macho, so what's your argument here? You're saying that the stoppage was fine.
No.
Blows were irrelevant.
No, what? So I mean, just very quickly, going back to that fucking, Brian's mentioned Minority Report a few times. You're talking about, you can't predict the future. I would fucking disagree with that. I think we've been hypocrites to say otherwise because I'm not the fucking oracle when it comes to boxing. I've got my casual tendencies, but everyone in this chat, we've seen enough boxing. At any point during a fight, we can pause it and go, where do we think this fight is going? Now, Kell Brook's a great example, 2 great examples against fucking the first fight, this fight against Golovkin. Do you know what? If you're going to go by the literal sense of the stoppage, then he was, you have to say, well, Brook was up on the cards and the corner threw the towel in, and we don't know how that would have ended. No, we do know how that would have ended because we've got historical precedent, we've got historical knowledge, we know about Golovkin, we know about Brook, and we've all said that he was going to get stopped. He was going to get KO'd before that came in. No one was sitting here going, hang on a minute.
There's every example you use, there's a fight where you can counter that. Every fight.
No, I'm not doing it. What I'm saying is we've all done it. We've all said we know how that fight was going to end. Brian said something I massively agree with, 100% agree with, that Brook, Matchroom, they don't want those highlight reel KOs. They don't want that image of Khan on the vines going around fucking Twitter and stuff of him being sparked. And against Spence, he was going to get stopped. He was going to get legit knocked out. So he took the knee so he wouldn't get the highlight reel. What I'm saying is, in both those fights, all of us here said we knew where that fight was going. Because now we might have been wrong, but we predicted it based on what we know about the fighters and how that fight was going. So for you guys to turn around and go, actually no, you can't say what you think might have happened. We do it all the fucking time. We do it and we've done it for Brook's last 2 fights. So you cannot say, it doesn't mean we're right, but you cannot
we're not
say
the referee,
we can't
mate.
predict. No, forget the referee. We can, and it's the same with the fight ones. We have got a right to say where we think that fight was going. Now I'm not really even talking about the stoppage yet. But to say that he wasn't going to stop him after that punch.
No one said he wasn't going to stop it. No one
mental.
Said,
but you said earlier you can't. No one can predict.
Didn't.
You can't say that. No, we can because we do it all the time.
I said you can't. No, I said you can't base a referee stoppage on some hypothetical prediction of how
I'll tell you what I think
would have gone.
The stoppage. I'll say my bit on the stoppage. The stoppage is terrible. But I guess if you're looking at it from the referees,
done.
Huh?
That's done. Stoppage was terrible. Done.
No.
We agree.
No, hang on. All I'm saying is, from Weeks' point of view, if he thinks they're legit body shots, he can't give him a standing 8 count because ideally you want him to get in there and not rush the decision. Give him an 8 count, look in his eyes, dust off his gloves, and then see what he's got. But he can't give him a standing 8 count. So what I guess he's seen is this guy slumped over, not defending himself. If he thinks the punches are legit, that's why he jumped in and stopped it. Now I'm not saying it's a good stoppage; it's a fucking terrible stoppage. But I would have loved to have seen him give a standing 8, but he couldn't give a standing 8.
Yeah,
but it is a bad stoppage, no question.
He didn't need to
what
give a standing 8.
What I'm saying is he thinks he's slumped over.
He was sat on the rope. The rope was holding him up. You just give an 8 count. I've seen that 100 times.
I've seen this. The rope was not.
He was sat on the rope.
No, he wasn't. I've seen the still.
He was.
He wasn't. Anyway, carry on.
Have we got
He,
Dooley?
he sits on the rope. He sits on the rope once the fight's waved off. I don't think he's actually sat on the rope when.
He's
Thank
got his
you very
arse
much.
through the ropes when the fight.
Yeah, but they're not keeping him up, are they? Because he's keeled over.
Yeah.
He needs to be leaning back for the ropes to keep him up.
And let's be fair, this is not
So
an uppercut to the balls.
Macho's right. He's getting it in the bollocks, and he's slumped forward. If Weeks sees that as body shots and he's slumped forward with his arms by his side, then he's not defending himself, and you should stop the fight.
I think,
but we all know he's being hit in the dick.
I think in that case, in that situation, fair enough. There's human error, and Weeks might have thought, do you know what? The ropes aren't holding him up. He's offering nothing. I've got to stop it. Right? There's human error. Look, the referee's not a machine, but I think he was in the ropes. Whether you argue he was completely sat on them or not, he was leaning into the ropes. His arse was on the rope. And whether you say he's leaning forward or leaning back or whatever, the referee could have used his brain and said, just give him a count and then say the ropes were. Do you remember the?
Hang on a minute. You can't say in one breath that you can't put illegal blows. That's against the rules. And all of a sudden, you want the rules to be broken, so Kovalev gets an 8 count. You can't have it both ways.
It's the referee. I'm saying it's the referee's opinion. You're saying, none of us were in the ring, so we don't know for sure. To me, it looked like the ropes held him up and he was sat on the ropes. I think in that situation, the ref should try and buy himself some time.
I agree with that.
Give him a count. And look, if Kovalev slumped over after 5 or 6 seconds, then, we all saw his face, right? I reckon if the ref had given a count, Kovalev would have stayed down. I honestly do. And I think he would have been counted out, and then we wouldn't be having this discussion at all. Because he was, he didn't get up, did he, after the fight was waved off? He was grimacing, he was bent over because he just got smashed in the cup. And
also, just very quickly as well, don't forget the right hand. Don't forget, if you go back and watch it, he hits him with a right hand, then he hits him with a left hook to the rib cage, straight right hand to the body. This wasn't like 3 low blows and the ref stopped it. He took a lot of shots, and I think he only offered what? I think it was 2 really mediocre left hooks. He wasn't there. I mean, I've got it on. I'm going to watch it now actually because I've got it paused. He wasn't offering hardly anything for those that 20-30 seconds. Anyway, I'm going to shut now.
Yeah, but in them 20-30 seconds, he was hitting the bollocks. So by rights, you break him up and he gets 5 minutes to recover.
He got hit at least twice low during.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was hit 3 times potentially low.
No, I'm on about at the point of stoppage. I'm not on about before. That's not. I've got no issue with before it. Before it, Ward hit him with a great right hand, and that left hook out the clinch from the body was.
I'm watching now. This left hook to the body is a fucking brutal. Another right hand to the body.
Yeah, but no. But ignore that. We'll get. Yeah. We're at the point of the stoppage. He's hitting the bollocks. He's got 5 minutes.
We haven't seen
recover
3 steals of the bollock. We've seen 1 of them. We haven't seen 3.
He's hit by 1 in the bollocks. 1's enough.
He gets
one's
hit
enough.
Right
That's a clean shot to the bollocks.
I'll tell you what we should do. Let's just forget all this now. Why don't we just get a vine of that 1 punch to the bollocks? We get Rocco in here, and he can do the review. If that's all we're going to go off, that 1 punch. I mean, come on.
But that was the last punch that caused the referee to stop it. That huge body shot, it landed right on the B of the writing below his belt. It was so obvious. It was smack on the cup, and you could see the cup. You saw the cup right up inside his shorts.
Kovalev ain't even. I'm just watching now. Kovalev isn't even disputing it. He's fucked. Anyway, sorry.
That doesn't matter if he disputes it. George Groves disputed the second Froch KO. Does that mean it was a bad stoppage? No, of course not. It doesn't fucking matter. Why do people always say this? Oh, he didn't argue it. Oh, he did argue it. It doesn't matter. The guy's probably, he's pumped full of testosterone. He's probably still groggy from that initial punch. Right, Macho, we agree. The punches that hurt him initially were legal punches. The body shot, the straight right, great punches. He was definitely hurt by legal punches. Would he have seen the final bell? If you give me £100, I would say no, he wouldn't. I'd put all my money.
I would have probably said yes.
I would have
probably said yes. But anyway,
I put my money on the fight not going the distance. As in, Kovalev would almost certainly have been knocked out legitimately. But the fact is, he was hit low at the end, and I think he was being held up by the ropes. And I think the referee has 2 options. He either calls it a low shot and breaks them and gives him 5 minutes, or he gives a count to Kovalev and he buys himself a bit of time. And I just think he took...
This is another thing that annoys me, this 5-minute thing. Yeah. Everyone's always raging when someone gets hit in the bollocks and they go, oh, look at him, he's milking it. I've never, ever heard anyone on Twitter, in the chat, or on these pods say, when someone's got hit with a low blow, take 5 minutes. But because everyone hates Ward, it's like, no, he should have taken the full 5 minutes.
Well, no, it's you given the option. He'd probably only have taken a minute or 2, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. Most people take like 1 or 2 minutes, and that's enough. Kovalev would have got up, he would have walked around a bit, and then he would have wanted to get on with it before he sort of, he got too cold or whatever, and he started to sort of lose his buzz or whatever. And I think he would have taken a minute or 2. But the fact is, you have to give you have to give the guy a reprise if he gets hit low. That's just a basic rule. It's the same. It's exactly the same for Ward. If Kovalev smacked him in the bollocks, there are people who are saying that because of what they think would have happened after, it's irrelevant. But it's just, that's such a dangerous rule if you apply that to everything. And it's so open to abuse. Oh, well, I think he would have lost, so it doesn't matter that the stoppage was early. And the comparisons you did earlier, right? Brook against Golovkin and then Brook against Spence. Both times, first of all, the corner stopped it. So that's completely different. The corner can stop a fight whenever they want.
No, I'm talking about
in their right.
People's opinion of how that fight was going to end.
Yeah, but the moment when Ingle waved the towel, if the referee had waved it off at that moment, I would have said that was an early stoppage, right? Even though we were all saying, yeah, Brook's going to get knocked out 100%. But that still would have been an early stoppage by the ref. But the corner has the to stop it whenever they want for any reason. And I don't think the referee does. I think the referee has a duty to sort of apply sort of common sense to it. And I just think it was, I don't know, look,
but you've got to give the commission should give them the tools to do it. But also, I think Kathy Duva needs a bit of stick. There were still 3 American judges, and you got a black ref in there after what some of the stuff that Kovalev has said. Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. I get all that, and it was a bad stoppage. And let's be fair, it's shit that we're sitting here, as you say, debating this, because we should be sitting here talking. Hopefully, well, I think anyway, a definitive Ward KO, which is why I want to see a third fight, because these two are so well matched. But but those low blows, I'm watching it again. They're not as bad as what people are saying. I'm not convinced at all.
This is what annoys me about what happened with the fight, and it's led to this constant narrative of that Ward was just legitimately so much better than Kovalev was over the 2 fights. But he really wasn't. The first fight, as we all know, I mean, majority of us had Kovalev winning that at least 7 rounds, I think, maybe 6 for a few of us. I know that you had Macho.
No, mate, Macho, don't laugh. It's true. Every single poll I've ever seen, Kovalev has got about 75% of the people voting have voted that Kovalev.
And I've said
you are well in the
media website. The guy that wrote the fight score collector, right? He had 71% of the media gave it to Kovalev, right? That's not bias or anything. That's just a collection of fucking scores.
And I've got no issue with Kovalev getting the first fight. That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely.
And then this fight, again, very close and fair. Again, after you said yourself you had Kovalev ahead, didn't you?
Yes, I Kovalev up 1 up.
So they are a very, as I said, tightly matched, and of course we want to see the third fight. But now the narrative is, because he stopped him in this fight, that the Ward is just infinitely better than him because of this controversial stoppage, and that there should be no. A lot of people saying there should be no third fight. He's completely dominated him, and that's absolute nonsense. It's proven. Just watching the fights, you can see that Ward really, really has to bring out the best of himself to stop this guy, to hurt this guy. And yeah, maybe he has broken him. Maybe he's bullied the bully and he's broken him down, and Kovalev will no longer have a fucking soul. But I think the third fight is very important to have, and people should stop going completely over the fucking top with how they're assessing Kovalev by the detrimental names of getting like one-dimensional fighter and all this fucking nonsense is absolute fucking insanity to just deride the man after he clearly, I think, still has more rounds up over on Ward.
I think, Alex, I think you're right. I think if you look at the 20 rounds that they fought each other, I think Kovalev has clearly won more than Ward has, even if you call that last one a 10-8 or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, Kovalev was hurt more badly than Ward has ever been hurt. But I had a conversation today with some lad in America was saying like, oh, the Russian monster was exposed or whatever. And I said, well, what do you mean? Like, he's still clearly an elite fighter, like, regardless of whether he lost. He didn't lose to like some fringe guy. He lost to Andre Ward, who's like the best, undisputably the best American fighter since Floyd, and one of the best of his generation. And like you say, 2 very, very close fights up until that breakthrough for Ward at the end.
You guys all Kovalev fans, right? Just quickly, I mean, are you not slightly disappointed that, and then you take that jab away from him, and he does start to struggle? And as I said, every time when he goes to throw that right hand, he really overextends. He really tries to punch through the target. Every time Ward will just dip down, and Kovalev will throw a drop. So what happens to the left hook to the body? I mean, are you not slightly disappointed that, Ward? They said about the great fighters can make those adjustments. We mentioned earlier about Lomachenko and Floyd, and Ward does it. Are you guys not slightly disappointed that sometimes Kovalev is a little bit one pace and he's a little bit headhunt happy? Do you not think you just wanted to see just maybe a little bit more?
I do think he headhunts. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I think he naturally headhunts because he knows he's got a hell of a lot of power in his hands. So he goes for the knockout a lot more, and he knows he can get that. I think that he relies a bit too much on that power, and we see him look a bit sloppy in some fights. I mean, look at the God, what's his name?
Chilombo.
Chilemba fight. Exactly. Yeah,
Chilombo.
he yeah, completely undertrained for that. He just relied entirely. I mean, like I said, he's not a perfect fighter, but I enjoy watching his style. I enjoy that headhunting style. I enjoy that about him. I enjoy the fact that he's got flaws and that he does these sorts of things because it's more entertaining. And I really just dislike this attitude of fans these days that if a fighter loses, especially as you say against the likes of Ward, he's instantly a bum. He's been exposed. There's a whole contingent of people waiting to say that about Golovkin as well. They're waiting to say that he's been exposed. I mean,
They are desperate for him to lose.
Exactly.
Absolutely desperate. It's really sad, honestly, because, you know, Golovkin, what more do you want? Like, it's a guy who knocks everyone out, and, you know, it doesn't sort of get caught on camera like going down on strippers, you know, like other guys do. Or doesn't beat up his girlfriend, or, you know, drunk drive, or have 6 kids with 12 kids with 6 different women or whatever. And yeah, he's just a nice guy who knocks everyone out, and people are desperate, and it's all so they can be proven right, so they personally can get like a little bit of sort of credibility. I was having the chat, Alex, today with the guy who said Kovalev had been exposed, and I said, what do you mean he's been? He said, like, oh, everyone fell for it. And I said, what do you mean everyone fell for it? He basically cleaned out the division, apart from Stevenson, who wouldn't fight him. And he went, oh, he cleaned out the division. Oh, and I said, well, yeah, he unified 3 of the 4 belts. And he went, yeah, well, Hopkins had 2 of them. And I was like, yeah, and I bet you picked Hopkins to beat him. And he went, yeah, I did. So what? And I was like, yeah, so he can't win then, can he? So you think Hopkins is going to beat him, and then after he beats Hopkins, he gets no credit from you anyway because Hopkins was old. And it's just pure agenda. And
to even it out as well, I think a lot of people had the same attitude about Floyd as well. I mean, I was always quite a big Floyd detractor. I was always wanting him to step up and do more with his ability. But I never ever would have, if he ever lost, I never ever would have said that he got exposed by losing, or that he was a shit all along and I was right. It was obviously he was a brilliant talent, but it's just this weird.
But Kovalev has had some flaws exposed. Yeah, there is. Again, I do think you have to say about. Carvey mentioned it earlier. Yeah, mentally, has he been exposed as being a bit weak mentally? Has his boxing ability been exposed a little bit when you take that jab away from him? Has his variation, because he doesn't vary up his work enough? Has some of those flaws come to the forefront now?
Yeah, but he's fighting Ward. He's not fighting a run-of-the-mill fighter. He's fighting one of the best of our generation. And you've said yourself, like, Ward can change on the fly. Kovalev ain't got that ability. He needs to go back to the corner to get instruction. And I don't think John David Jackson was fully in that fight with Kovalev. So that's another thing.
I think the camp was they had issues, didn't they? I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, so this, like, Ward can change on the fly. Ward can make a decision and just change around by himself. Kovalev needs to go back, get instruction, go back out again. So he's always going to be up against it in a fight like against Ward, because Ward's obviously much better. He's much better technically. Kovalev's a good fighter. He's not shit. He's not been exposed. He got beat by someone who he beat in the first fight. Kovalev beat in the first fight. There was no way he lost that fight. The second fight, Ward was getting the better of him. But in that first fight, there is no fucking way Ward won that. And if you think he did, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know how you score it to him.
But just the question was, though, is it fair to say that some of his flaws have been exposed?
Yeah.
Or maybe exposed the wrong word.
We've seen him get not exposed. Is like, I don't like the word exposed because then it means he was a hype. Yeah, he was a hype job all along. We've seen his flaws. We've seen him before. Chilemba not exposed him, but demonstrated he had flaws. Pascal hit him. Yeah, he's not a perfect fighter. No one's ever said he is. This is the problem with boxing fans today. They're either Floyd, Ward, Rigo, or they're fucking shit. That's the way it is. No one can be just decent anymore, or good, or above average. They're either great or shit.
I agree with everything you said, by the way.
And you're fucking saying it, Matthew. You're the one going, he's been exposed, his flaws have been brought to the surface.
I haven't said that.
Can I just say quickly what you said a minute ago? You said, like, has he been exposed as mentally weak? And I think he's been exposed as mentally weaker than Andre Ward.
That's fair.
Ward is like arguably the most mentally strong guy in the entire sport. So it's not. I don't think it's quite the same. And I wouldn't say Kovalev was mentally weak compared to, if you want mentally weak, you look at someone like Victor Ortiz. Do you know what I mean? someone who is genuinely fragile. Or
guys, you actually bang on. I absolutely agree with you.
do you know what I mean?
The way you worded it is much better than the way I worded it. You're right. He's been I don't like the word exposed
He's,
either.
he's mentally weaker than Ward. We can agree on that. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. No, and I'm with you on that. And I will retract my comments because I didn't mean them the way they came out. Because I'm definitely not shitting on Kovalev because I do like Kovalev. Obviously, I'm a Ward fanboy, and I'm not here saying he's a bum because he's fucking definitely not.
I think, mate, this is we agree on most of it. And my issue with the stoppage is that, like we always say, it robs Kovalev of a chance to potentially recover, whether we think he would have done or not, and it robs Ward of the chance to definitively win with no questions. And I think that's the real shame because both guys lose ultimately.
I've got another question for you guys. What do you think in terms of, again, so put my pro Kovalev hat on there. He can easily say, yeah, I won the first fight. You can easily argue that he was winning the second fight, and then he got stopped on low blows, and the ref didn't give him any protection. What are we looking at a potential like Donaria? I mean, what do we think? Where do we think Kovalev can go next? Could these two fights finish him?
I was talking to Miketch on Twitter and Nunes as well, and Kovalev's 34. It's been proven he's not got the best tank, and he might be mentally not all there anymore. So it is a great question. That what does he do?
I tell you what he doesn't do.
Because it's so like 175. It's so top heavy, and he's not going to be sacrificed like a Bivol or a Jostic or something, or Beterbiev. Maybe Beterbiev.
A fight like that will be huge in Russia though, against Bivol or fucking Beterbiev. Kovalev against, or just the three of them fighting.
Yeah, I know, but is he going to be someone else's coming out party fight? Or is he going to go back in at top level?
Is
and the only one
is he going to be the best
Ward
Kovalev that we thought that he could be, or hope that he would be?
If he wants a fucking rematch, he's going to have to earn it. Fight. Beterbiev's like the mandatory for the IBF, apparently. Well, fucking try and get that fight in Russia. Like just fucking swallow your pride and what Real Heyman. That's what you're going to have to do. But see what I want to see. There's no point getting in this fucking Duva bashing because I think it's quite convenient to people for slag Duva when it suits their fucking suits them. But see when Duva was doing well with Kovalev, everything was up Duva's arse. But now because like Kovalev had a struggle, like get robbed in the last fight and had a struggle with it, like now they're not just like kind of wading in. It's just opportunism. But see what I want to say about Ward, I think he's kind of body work. It was far better than the last fight, but he seemed to get so much fucking credit for the last fight. But I think he was also fucking like bending over really, really low, and at points it looked as if he was going too low, deliberately going that low just so he couldn't get punched. And I know Macho will probably jump back in here. That's what you're meant to do. No, you're not meant to fucking bend as low as he was doing it. And the way it was almost at waist height with his head and thrown in fucking body punches. I don't know whether that was legal or not, right? But at the same time, his body work was absolutely fucking tremendous. And what he was doing was he was getting total whip and torque. He was just moving his total waist and hips right into like Kovalev's body, and obviously took an effect on him. But I'm just going to constantly disagree here that Kovalev has no gas tank because he was fucking doing fine until a fucking right hand for hell. Absolutely fucking fine. Like, draw into your fucking specky heat, Macho. That fight fucking turned on one fucking punch. It was not fucking, Kovalev was gassing, he was exposed. He got hit with one fucking punch and totally changed the outcome of that fight. And then there was a big fucking dirty punch to the dickhead. You better start acknowledging this because you keep doing what about it, but what about this and what about that? What about fuck all? What about fucking weeks? Just basically fucking called it as what it was. A punch to the fucking balls, gave him 5 minutes. I tell you what would have happened if the referee fucking stopped Marquez in the first round against Manny Pacquiao? We went there, got the fucking 4 fights, and we're fucked over. The referee fucking allowed that to go on and make it great fights, but Tony Weeks fucked over. Right? I thought Tony Weeks was doing a good job because he was breaking up the clinches as soon as they were happening. But as I said at the start, there wasn't enough holding for it, maybe for him to get warned for the holding. That I was wrong in that yesterday, but the referee had an absolute fucking nightmare. I'm raging more like Groves and Frotch won. I'm raging more like that both guys were fucking robbed in different outcomes. One was robbed of having a definitive fucking stoppage in his career. That'd have been a mega win. And Kovalev was robbed of basically proving every fucking wrong. They're saying he's not got a gas tank. There's absolutely no proof whatsoever to say if he survived that round, got to the corner, squared his fucking knob, had a 1 minute. There's nothing to say that he could not have just come out and just fought behind the jab. There's absolutely no fucking proof that he could have not done that. So it's left in doubt. I do not want a fucking third match. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this bullshit. Anytime, and I'm going to call it as I see it, anytime this sort of fucking fight arises in America, it is just absolutely fucking race baiting. It's just Twitter and social media, just all morphs into absolute fucking head cases.
Yeah, but you can take yourself away from that, though, can't you? You shouldn't. If they have a third fight,
I don't want to take myself away from it because I want to get fucking right in the middle and get raging on it. We don't get it over here because unless you talk to Shep every 5 minutes, we don't get this sort of shit over here. We don't support boxers due because of religion or race or all that. We just like a boxer if we like a boxer.
Some people do in this country, definitely.
Amir Khan. Amir Khan's get supports because of religion, but we won't get into that.
Because you're both very pro-gay marriage.
Right, that's true. I love the cock, but I don't. Look, I'm just sick of fucking America just loses their absolute fucking shit. And if you don't see, if you say that you're against Ward and give a criticism of fucking Ward, is because he's a black guy. No, mate, he's fucking half white and his dad was a junkie bastard that killed himself. That's exactly what he is. He's a half and half. He's basically the good half's us.
I'm not having the Irish taking any credit for Andre Ward. I'm not having that at all. No way. Can I just say, Carpy, sorry, but just before we move on, a really nice bit of symmetry that I've just sort of figured out, right? Froch Groves, Ward Kovalev, as a couple of rematches. First, in the first fight, the favourite struggled both times, right? In the second fight, that fighter came back, Froch and Ward respectively, came back to land probably the best single punch of their career, right? They both did it. Do we agree with that? I think that right was Ward, the best punch I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's quite a good shout, yeah.
It's a big right hand. I'm just watching the replays of it now.
And I know it didn't drop him, but it put him basically out on his feet for a few seconds. And Kovalev's a tough guy. And I think there was a lot of parallels, I think, between the two series where obviously with Froch against Groves obviously went down, and there was no debate about the finish. But I'd say that those are the two best punches of each guy's career. So it was an interesting sort of.
I'll give you another example. See the Pacquiao Cotto fight. That was a really fucking competitive fight up until Pacquiao had him an absolute fucking blinder of a punch, and it just totally deviated away from what it was. Just one punch can change a total. We've seen it umpteen times. Just one fucking punch can totally change it. Look at Joshua Klitschko, and people need to just understand here that was a super competitive fight. Look, Kovalev was tiring a bit, but it makes no fucking difference. He was still super competitive in there. It wasn't as if Ward bossed that round 7. It wasn't as if he was absolutely fucking smashing fuck out of him until that punch. Right, and at the end of the day, he got fucking punched in the fucking balls. It should have been told him it is. I think Tony Weeks should actually get his cunt kicked in. I really do believe he should get dragged up, get put on fucking TV, and just get. I know there's fucking Orange people listening to this, right? See when they get inducted into the Orange Lodge, they get their cunt kicked in after every dinner, there, battered fuck out. They should bring that in for a day and absolutely fucking stomp fuck out of Tony Weeks. I'm absolutely fucking raging. The referees fucking. How many times do we get it every fucking week here? Every fucking week we get judges and referees fucking ruining fights. I'm sick of it. He's got a flat top as well. No cunt's got a flat top in this fucking day and age. It's 2017. A fucking flat top. I'm fucking raging.
Also, just finally, I thought the two cards that had Ward up, I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't see there's much of an argument for Ward being up at that point in the fight. I mean, two of them
There's
had up by a point.
No danger of Ward winning that fight on the cards at that point. Disgraceful.
All I would say about that is I agree. I had Kovalev up, but I did, like Brian, when I didn't score it the second time when I watched it, but I was definitely more impressed with Kovalev. Ward, watching it the second time.
Off, you big fucking separate bastard.
No, I'm just saying that like I was 2 rounds is, but watching it again, I could probably find a way to score it to war. But no, I definitely thought Kovalev was up.
I was going to say I'm quite interested in this. You had the second fight to Kovalev.
No. Yeah,
but you had the first one to Ward. I don't understand that at all.
I'd Ward winning the first fight 1-4, 1-3, and at the stoppage, I had Kovalev 1 round up.
Interesting. I think there's more of an argument. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe more of an argument for Ward being up in the second.
But this is the thing where I say about both guys. I think Adam Smith. Adam Smith. I quite like Adam Smith commentary when someone gets hurt. He goes right fucking mental. I quite enjoy it. But like he said, these two might just be made for each other, and they are. They do bring out the best in each other, and I think both fights were really, really fucking good to watch. We're talking about 2 top level guys, operating to the maximum of their potential. There's no, every second of every round, both guys, their eyes are on fucking stalks. Like I would definitely want to see a third fight. I do want to see a definitive ending one way or another.
It's a classy fight between 2 elite guys. There's not much more you can ask for.
You can't. If they do a third fight, you can't go, I don't want to see that, mate. As you say, it's 2 elite guys going at it. Let's do it again.
Right, see, just before Josh.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
And spaz it out here because he is clearly going to fucking spaz it out, right? Ward, the one punch kind of just totally changed the fight, right? You know how if Kovalev got to the end of the round, fucking stood up, that guy's got freakish power, right? So one punch can change a fucking fight. I'm in the opinion, 10 seconds too late and 10 seconds too early. They're in a fucking ring for a reason. They're always going about I'm prepared to die in the ring.
Hold on a minute.
I just want.
Hold on a minute.
A fucking finish, and see if that was Ward smashing fuck out of Kovalev, then we've got an absolute fucking monster of a fighter here.
Yeah, but you keep going on about one punch change a fight, one punch change a fight. You're saying it like...
Hang on. Introduce yourself. Someone introduce yourself.
Well,
who's
the casual king himself.
You are a big spastic casual bastard.
Exactly, but you're trying to say it like Ward... Yeah, this is me. You're just trying to say it like Ward just pulled that punch, set it up like it came from the rafters, and he just fucking pulled it from nowhere. He set the punch up. It didn't just come from nowhere.
I know that. I'm not saying that he didn't.
Just said like it was just out of nowhere. He'd never landed a punch in the whole fight. He set it up with body shots. The rest, he set it up. Kovalev was tired. I can't believe you don't think Kovalev was tired. Watch him in between the rounds. He's absolutely blowing out his arse.
Well, you saved that. I watched the fight just before around it, and I believe that you're what's known in the business as a lying bastard.
Fucking hell.
I've got see it clear as day. Round 7 fucked. I've got by Kovalev and notes.
He's fucked. He's fucked. He's literally breathing in and out, in and out. And I've got
he's breathing in and out, is he? Wow.
If you that's how you do it. Well, if you watch the 24/7 and stuff, and I'm going to sound like a casual again, but I don't think he's being worked hard enough by John. I don't think he is. He works at his own pace in the fight, but he works at his own pace in the gym. No one seems like they're pushing him in the gym.
Steve Kim's basically saying on his podcast that Kovalev does what Kovalev wants. He runs the training camp.
That's not good enough, though. That's why he tired, in my opinion. I know some of you don't think he tired, but I think he did tire. I think he tired.
Wasn't tired. I'm saying that you're over-exaggerating because he was still competitive in the rounds that he was tired. So does that
talking about the stoppage here. I'm not. The stoppage was bullshit, and disclosure is that I wanted Kovalev to win. So I think I've got a right to say something. Like I wanted Kovalev to win. I was cheering for him, but I thought he tired, and I thought he was going to go without the body shots and all that. I thought before the low blows landed, he was tired. So none of that was to do with any low blows.
There's no denying it. I don't think I'm a T-bone on this. There's no denying that Kovalev was definitely tiring and Ward was getting back into the fight. And again, as I said before, they had a clear plan for body work, and Ward was tapping that body early doors in the very first round.
But like everyone was wanking over Kovalev, like when he was fighting shite, and he was fighting shite. Fucking, I don't care what you say. When he was fucking fighting people and he was working at his own pace, everyone was absolutely buzzing off it. Like, oh, look at this, he's working at his own pace. You can't do that against the top guys. Sometimes you got to put some effort in. It does look fantastic when he was fighting Pascal and he was just doing what the fuck he wanted, but he couldn't do what the fuck he wanted against Ward, and he fucking quit because of it.
I do think he was conscious of overtraining because he kept going on about how far he was running and cycling and all the rest of it.
14 miles a day, wasn't it?
I don't believe he did do that though. I don't
get from one extreme to the other.
Like I said, I've never seen in any of the training camps where he looks like him pushing himself. I'm gonna go full casual here now. But if look at Floyd. Floyd does fight at his own pace in a fight, but in training, he fucking looks like he's about to die. He literally looks like there's sweat pouring off him. Whereas when you watch Kovalev, he's just tapping the bag. He hits it hard enough now and again. Don't get me wrong, he hits it fucking hard, the bag, but he's just going. You can't do that when you get to the top level.
Do you know what's interesting as well about this fight? I was looking back at the scorecards on the first fight. I definitely think Kovalev tied in the first fight, but I think I gave him 10. I might have even given him 11. I can't remember. Definitely give him
10.
Yeah, Kovalev.
Well, this is the point. Hang on
a minute. But what I'm saying is, he was definitely more tired in his second fight than he was in the first fight. And I do think a lot of that was body work and all the excess work he was doing on the inside.
I'll tell you why he was tired. Why he was tired, and why I don't get your argument, Macho. Where I'll disagree with you is, you were trying to say he's not a better boxer than Ward. I think he was actually outboxing Ward in the second one.
No, he wasn't.
He had a better jab for definite.
He outboxed him in the first 3 rounds, yeah. But then,
I
thought he outboxed him a few more rounds than that. And to say but how was he winning then? You had him winning, didn't you, Macho? You had him winning before the stoppage.
I had him winning.
But he didn't land any big shots, so it can't have been that he was winning it from brute force. He must have been winning it from outboxing Ward because it was a boxing match.
Well, no, the first 3 rounds, as I said, I thought Kovalev kind of smothered Ward. And Ward struggled.
Definitely didn't smother him.
Well, no, I thought he was rushing towards him quite quickly, and I thought Ward was struggling with the output of Kovalev, and also on the inside, he was working on the inside. And I thought the first 3 rounds, I gave them all to Kovalev.
I thought in both fights that Kovalev on the outside was a better fighter on the outside. I thought Ward won it because of his inside work. So he's definitely not a better boxer. It's just my personal opinion, but
I think I don't punch stats, but Ward definitely landed. I think the much more eye-catching jabs from the outside in the second fight. Kovalev's got a great jab, but Ward landed much better jabs.
Brian,
you're like straight right as well.
You'll like this one. I've done a bit of research because I'm a fucking weirdo. But if you go back to the road to Kovalev Ward, the first one, does anyone watch it?
Aye.
Watched it at the time.
Did you see that Nancy old guy? The one who looks like he's probably Nancy Ward as well. Do you remember him? The guy who trains him? Fitness coach guy.
Aye.
If you watch it again anyway, watch it again. He does look like a fucking Nancy bastard. But basically, he's a top trainer in America. And who were the people he mentioned in that fight? Who were the people he mentioned in that show? He trained was no. The 2 people he mentioned was Peyton Manning, who's had a fucking history of HGH accusations, and the other one was Serena Williams, and she's a fucking steadhead as well. So it won't surprise me if Ward's on the juice out of his fucking brains, because you cannot move up in weight like that and go 12 like he's done. Not in my books anyway, and then wants to move up to heavyweight. He's definitely on the fucking boys.
I definitely think Ward's on the steroids. I definitely believe that.
What was the drug testing for this fight? Does anyone know?
I think it was 8 weeks out, VADA or some shit like that.
I think the first fight was VADA, yeah. I don't know about the rematch. Should we talk about the undercard, though? Because I thought there were a couple of good fights on there.
Yeah, do any of you want to talk about the Rigo stoppage?
No, I don't give a fuck. I think it was fair because I don't care. I think like the Andre Ward, Andre Darrell, fair knockout. I don't give a fuck. I don't think it was a no contest. Fuck, I really don't care.
This one was a lot later than the Darrell one. I thought the Darrell one was on the bell. This was about a second after the bell. It's ridiculous. But I think they're going to do it in no contest, aren't they? I think they've said. So just get a rematch on. Rigo beat the shit out of him in the rematch. The guy's terrible. He's so slow. Unbelievable. Rigo just watched him for about 2.5 minutes. And then the guy just kept throwing these huge hooks. And then he timed him with a perfect little straight left. And the guy was wobbly. And then they held each other and started throwing after the bell. And he wasn't knocked out.
Rigo's detractors are saying that it was illegal blows because he was holding behind the head. Do you agree with that or disagree? Because he definitely was holding it. He was holding and hitting. He was bringing his head down as he was hitting him.
But that's a warning, though, isn't it? You don't get disqualified for doing that straight off.
No, of course. Yeah, of course you don't get disqualified for it.
I mean, the ref should have just said, look, what was the fight where... Was it Cintron against, what's his face? Martinez, wasn't it? When Martinez knocked him out, And then Sintron sort of sat on the floor for a couple of minutes. And then the referee was eventually persuaded that it was a headbutt. And then he just got them to restart the fight about 5 minutes later. And I almost felt like they should have just restarted because, they'd only been going for about 3 minutes, hadn't they? It was the first round. So just start the fight again or just start it from the beginning of the second round. But I think the guy faked it. He wasn't knocked out by the punch. So, I thought it was karma when I would have hated to see Rigo disqualified because I do still think he's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, you're a big Rigo fan, aren't you? But he just doesn't fight enough for me to be interested anymore. What was he had?
Fight him. Problem. I don't know.
Was he had 3 rounds since last summer? Jazza Dickens and this Flores.
Yeah, I mean,
he's moving up to. He said he's moving up to 126. Well, what do you see him doing up there?
Struggle, maybe. So, can you imagine him against a guy like Selby? Like, if you look at the sort of the height and the reach. I'm not saying Selby would beat him, but I feel like, I don't know, I think he's got to move up and he's got to get guys in the ring who are much bigger because that's the only way they're going to take the fight and think they have a chance. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be guys who are going to outweigh him significantly on fight night. Because guys, we've seen guys his own size won't fight him. Offered a catch weight to Loma wouldn't have it, shat it, moved up a division. So, what can you do? But I hope he sticks around because I do still think talent-wise, he's right up there.
Hasn't he offered Loma out at 126 now?
Yeah, now he has. It's weird. But he said meet in the middle before, didn't he? He said let's meet at 124.
Well, yeah,
McGregor wouldn't do it. And I thought that was a bit, I don't know. I feel like if someone's going to meet you halfway, that's a fair offer.
What the fuck was Kellerman talking about in fighting Chocolatito? What the fuck was that about?
Well, you could make it, but I think
no, Rigo would sleep him in
at
a couple of rounds.
118. Rigo could easily make 118, but Chocolatito would be too small for 118. I think
exactly. Rigo just he's got a lot. He's got too much power for him. Way too much power for him. I don't think that's a competitive fight. Yeah, possibly.
What else do we have? We had Bivol as well, didn't we?
Yeah, I was impressed with Bivol. I thought that might go a few more rounds because Agnew's a pretty tough guy. I was trying to think who I'd like to see Bivol in with next. Maybe that Vosdik or someone like
Chilemba.
You want to set Pascal, man?
Yeah, Chilemba. Why not? Or
Pascal's finished.
Well, yeah, but it's a name, isn't it? He needs some names on his record now. He's because I think he's what was that, Alex? You'll tell me. I think Bivol's had like 11 fights, hasn't he, or something? He's still quite a novice.
Yeah, he's barely double digits, I think.
Yeah,
I haven't seen his last few fights, to be honest, but I know that he's just
don't need to rush him. I know he's had less than 15 fights, so I think
he doesn't need it, though. I mean, the very first fight I watched of him, obviously, was back in 1976 at the Olympics where he won a gold medal. But no, he's an excellent little fighter. And again, you say no rush, but I think they could rush him. I think that they could. I mean, there's one more step before he gets to the, Beterbiev, Kovalev, Ward, Stevenson levels. But again, like we said, that's like Chilemba, maybe Barrera.
Yeah, Barrera.
Badu Jack's coming up as well. I mean, we don't know where he fits in just yet, but if he's at the Kovalev, Ward levels, or if he's just a rung below, but. All that we've seen of Jack shows
he'll have to get through. He'll have to get through King Nathan eventually as well.
Well, we know how that's going to end. Up the Welsh.
You don't want to end the lad's career at this stage. But
that might be a good fight for Bivol. That's been actually touted because I think Nathan is WBA number 1 mandatory, I think, or something. And Bivol's
ranked, isn't he? He's ranked quite highly by a few of them.
I think, or is it, got the
Cleverly's got the snide.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, Bivol's mandatory, not fucking Clever. Cleverly's got the shit belt, and I think Bivol was mandatory, so maybe he can go for that fight. I swear they were talking about it before this Agnew fight was made.
Get him in the Super 6. Honestly, that's perfect for him. He'll get 3 or 4 quality fights out of that, or not the highest possible level. He won't get a Ward in there or a Stevenson, but he would get 3 or 4 top 10 opponents out of that, and he would learn a huge amount. I think that'd be absolutely perfect for him. Just keep him away from Jamie Cox, because if he moves up to 175, it's big trouble for everyone.
Whose bollocks fall off first, though? Jamie Cox or Andre Ward?
Imagine those two going at it. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Split each other's heads open with headbutts in the first round, fucking knocking each other's bollocks off. Would be the ultimate foul verse.
the quickest to get disqualified. Or what about is Rodriguez still fighting? Get him in with Jamie Cox. That'd be a dirty fight.
Oh, he's
I'd like to see that.
gone a bit downhill, hasn't he?
I think he's I think he got badly knocked out, didn't he, against that who was it? Williams. That was a bad one. I don't know if he's fought again since then. But yeah, no, can't be. And then that Arias as well. I think he knocked out the Russian or the Eastern European guy.
Wasn't he a Floyd fighter, that Arias?
I'd seen him before. I think it was on a Floyd undercard. I'd seen him once before. He looks quite useful. He's pretty tall for the weight. You know, looks like he can punch a bit. I mean, I quite like those fights. I mean, they're almost sort of, they're not quite trade fights, are they? But like the ones where they're actually well matched.
Yeah.
You know?
As Brian calls
I'd rather see a fight with no name that was well matched. You know, personally, I'd rather see Bivol in a well matched fight than a sort of name guy. You know, sort of stay busy.
Yeah, I mean that's what they've been doing with him, really, isn't it? They've been giving him these names where he's been developing. The Agnew fight was really good for him, I think. And again, they just need to keep building him up like that.
Alex, wasn't there Magomedov that Arias beat quite highly touted at one point?
I wouldn't know.
I think he was quite a good amateur.
What a shite question.
Equally shite.
No, Carpy, I think he was quite a good amateur because Rian was tweeting about him and, you know, the amateur master. And he was saying that I think he'd won a couple of medals, but he's never really quite done it as a pro. And he might have, I think he turned over quite late. And he's one of those sort of former Soviet bloc fighters who.
He's only 24. He's not.
Never quite.
Oh, they're all fucking gone.
Oh.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know.
They're all on their phone, I'm guessing.
Right. I want to move on for these fucking bum fights because it's been an hour and 45 minutes, and I want to.
What, so you want to move on to the fucking next gem card that's this weekend, yeah?
Oh, I'm not going to talk about any of that fucking shit. Right.
On, mate.
We've got 15 minutes to cover two things here, right? One's the press conference today because obviously everybody knows I'm going to fucking Vegas for Canelo and Golovkin, and the other one is basically the chat that we've not spoke about, and it's the hung parliament.
The DUP.
Fuck the DUP.
Ian Paisley.
What we're going to talk about so we can piss off some fucking weirdos. I know Josh is on. He's an absolute fucking casual. McGregor versus Mayweather. I know that everybody lost their absolute shit over us getting made, and I think there's certain people, we all know who it is, that just deliberately tries to be raging over anything. I couldn't give a fuck this fight's happening. It's absolutely, it makes no difference to me what happens. I wouldn't be watching it because I don't want to see McGregor get leathered for 12 rounds. It'd be just really pointless. But I'm quite fucking happy to see this fight happen. It's just an absolute casual central. I know people are going out to it. I know people that's already get tickets for it. It'll be entertaining. Like if they do the Showtime, McGregor is absolutely going to sell the fuck out of that because we all know that he's a bit of a salesman. But what I like about McGregor is he fights the best. I know he lost to like people think, oh, he lost to Diaz. That's normally what most people fucking do. When they fight, they lose. You get the odds are normally like Mayweather, Calzaghe and that. Most cunts fucking lose. Dry your eyes, you fucking homos. Disney act, he's boring bastard and goes back to Money Mayweather where he is quite quick, witty. It'll be quite funny. It'll be an absolute shit show. I'll maybe like kind of tune into the undercard because I hopefully they'll put some good undercards on it. Josh, you've been wanking yourself over this fight, haven't you? Aye,
well,
unmute.
Not really, no. I like the fight. I like you said about the build-up. That's. I know that's casual out of your brain, but I'm all about that build-up sort of shit. I fucking love 24/7. That's what got me into the Hat and Mayweather 24/7 when I was a kid. Sat with my dick in my hand at that stuff. That's what I love boxing for. All the fuck I'll do.
Has anyone seen Brian? You mentioned it. They've announced a few details of the undercard for Mayweather McGregor. In the co-main's going to be Michael Phelps against a great white shark in a sprint, and then below is going to be the Sri Lankan cricket team against Ronnie O'Sullivan in a game of pool. And then we've got Anthony Joshua versus Andre the Giant at badminton. And a trillion lions versus the sun in a fight to the death.
I don't want to get. I don't want to get into this. Fucking hell. If you're just going to go raging at me and not let me talk, but
no, I want to hear
it's
you
as
talk
ridiculous
about.
as that, mate. I just don't think it's as ridiculous as two different sports. It's ridiculous.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot, mate. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
I just don't think it's as bad as two. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's obviously stupid. It should not be made. I don't think it's as ridiculous as two different sports coming together, though.
But it's two different sports coming together, so...
Oh,
Josh,
fucking hell. I can't say it without saying it.
Josh, mate, just quickly, can you clarify your stance on McGregor and Maidana, please, for the listeners?
I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into that.
Do you not
what
know
we'll
who
get
Maidana
into is people who've shitted on Floyd for years absolutely riding his dick now. That's what we'll get into. Just fucking absolutely dick riding him. I know Brian's done it for years anyway, so I'll let him off. But all the rest of everyone who fucking was packed hard for years, now Mayweather can do no wrong. Career. Forget. Let's not. Hold on a minute. Let's not fucking forget that. That what gives this cunt the divine right to say I'm going to fight Kareem Mayfield or I'm going to fight Andre Berto? Who the fuck gives him the right to say that? So fuck him. I hope he gets slept.
I think it's just a case that people retire and then you remember the good bits, don't you, and not the bad stuff. I think that happens with every fighter, to be honest.
I don't agree with all that bullshit though that you should be able to have like a going out party. Shite. If you're a champion, you fight the best till the fucking end.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Everyone slagged him for fighting Berto. Everyone. No one's defended him for that.
People watched it though.
I've never.
Yeah, of course they did.
What was the difference? I still think there was. Obviously, McGregor's a lot.
What's the difference? Berto's a professional boxer. McGregor's not.
Yeah, but he should have never been in the ring, should he? He should have never been in the ring for it. You all went on about Paul Smith getting a world title fight. Berto should have never got the Mayweather fight.
No, he shouldn't have done.
Berto was yeah, but no world champion.
Well, what's your point? What point are you trying to make?
People should have kicked up a fuss about that as well.
They fucking did. Everyone did. Everyone did, and hardly anyone watched it, and hardly anyone bought the fight. He went from 4.6 million.
Leonard Ellaby said it was a good fight.
Yeah, he went from 4.6 million pay-per-views against Pacquiao to like 300,000. People didn't watch it.
He would have gone down whoever he fought, wouldn't he? But
of course it would have went down.
Yeah,
but to go from like 900 to 1 million to 300,000.
He went down to like 20% of what it was against Pacquiao.
I don't understand what point you're trying to make. I really don't.
Nah, I'm just hating on Floyd. That's all.
No, that's fair enough. But to say because he fought Berto, then the McGregor fight's acceptable, that's complete bullshit.
No, I'm just saying like if that's happening, then this might as well happen as well. If that load of shit's happening, you might as well just go full whack with it.
I think Anthony Joshua might as well fight a bear. Just fucking him with a bear. What's the point? Let's get Kovalev on his comeback fight. Let's get him fucking cockfight. Let's get him in with loads of fucking hens, man.
The chicken and wing. Kovalev would quit again.
Didn't Ali fight like a karate master in the 70s or something? Am I imagining that? Wasn't that?
Yeah, Antonio Inoki.
Yeah,
he went on it. He led on his back, just kicking fuck out of him. Has that Tebow left for good now, or has he just been booted off by someone?
I booted him off.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
Didn't Ali do the?
Why did you invite him on, man?
Because I like fucking Big Josh, man. He's always causing it.
He's very passionate. I'll give him that.
Right, what I want to say is, I honestly believe, as much as McGregor is absolutely shite boxer, this will be far more competitive than Canelo Chavez, which people fucking thought was acceptable fight.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't think anyone did really. It was just because it was two Mexicans, wasn't it? It was sellable. It was a sellable fight.
The Mexicans get sucked in. Oh, I'm picking Chavez. Yeah,
the Irish are getting.
Oh yeah, well they're idiots, aren't they? You cut two Mexicans in a ring, they'll all pay to watch it. The only people thinking McGregor's going to win is Tebow and the Irish.
Mark has picked McGregor, I think.
Mark's going, and to be fair, I don't blame people for going. If you can afford it, then it'll be a great event. Like it'll be chaos over there. So go if you can afford it.
I don't believe.
If you're going to
Go on, mate. So.
If you're going to choose to go to Floyd and McGregor over Golovkin and Canelo, then you're an idiot. If you could afford to do both, by all means, do both. But there's only one real fight happening in Vegas, and it ain't fucking McGregor and Floyd, is it?
I don't believe in that any of this, the hype and the build up to this is going to be anywhere as interesting as people make out. I think that McGregor is obviously going to do his usual act of acting like an absolute fanny pad, spouting these stupid little catchphrases and sounding like a fucking stupid leprechaun. And Floyd, who is so media trained and muzzled and just shite and boring, is just going to do nothing. I mean, like you said, Brian said he wanted to see the classic pretty boy Floyd persona come back, and yeah, if that came back, then it would be interesting. But Floyd's not going to bite to him. McGregor's going to go all over the place about his fucking domestic abuse and all this shit, bringing up all this nonsense. So he can't read. Floyd's not going to say anything back.
Floyd hasn't. Alex, you're right. Floyd hasn't had to really sell himself since what? Maybe Hatton or De La Hoya, when he was like up in their face and sort of starting stuff at every press conference, and maybe did a little bit with Victor Ortiz. Do you remember when he grabbed him and he was sort of saying all this stuff about him being a quitter and all that? But I think I agree with you. I think like if you want to have a crossover fight where they will sell, imagine someone like Bellew against McGregor. Imagine what Bellew would come out like. He would actually sell the fight, wouldn't he? He'd be talking about.
But the thing is, it doesn't need selling, though, does it?
All this stuff.
It doesn't need selling though either. That's the thing. Floyd doesn't need to say a fucking word. Spastics all over this because it's the big crossover fight. It's the best versus the best.
Pay-per-view buys. What do you think this will do?
Is it the big question is, will it do more than Manny and Floyd?
No, I don't think it will do anywhere near as many. I think it will do maybe 2 million max.
4.
Still a lot.
4. I reckon it will nearly break it.
4?
Yeah. 4.4
I don't
was
think
Manny
there are enough
versus
UFC
Floyd.
fans, mate. Honestly, I don't think that many boxing fans are going to buy this. I really don't.
We're not the target market, are we?
Yeah.
No, but even in the,
I don't know, like 1.5 million pay-per-views before.
It's not about UFC fans. It's not about boxing fans. It's about casual sports fans. And that's all this is for. UFC fans know that McGregor's not going to beat him. Boxing fans know that McGregor's not going to beat him. It's the fucking stupid spastics in the middle that don't even watch either of the sports.
Let's crunch the numbers. Let's crunch the numbers for a sec, right? So Floyd. What's Floyd's sort of minimum that he could do against anyone? About 750,000, right?
But what did he do against Berto?
I think it was about 700, 750.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, it was a lot less than that, wasn't it?
It was.
It's more than 500,000, I think.
No, it was 450.
450, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say it was under 5.
Floyd coming back in the 50th fight to break the record in inverted commas. I think he could do at least 750 against anyone. So you're looking at the best part of 1 million. I think what does McGregor do in the UFC? I've got no idea about his numbers. I imagine
over 1 million.
Does he do over 1 million? Okay, so you're looking at sort of 2 million as a minimum, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
You can't do comparative numbers like that. Look what Manny did, and look what Floyd did, and look what they did together.
Yeah, but it had so much more meaning together. Like I
saw
an estimate.
Dana
White said they expect it to do over 5 million. I just don't see it. I don't see it doing anywhere near that many. And there won't be a belt, like there's, and that kind of thing.
There will be a belt, mate. The WBC already making one.
Yeah, but it'll be like it will have like a picture of Floyd on it or something mental.
Yeah.
It'll be like that Mexican belt they did for Canelo Chavez. It just looked like a piece of shit. And no one even wanted it after the final belt. Didn't Canelo reject it? He said like, I'm not taking it because he's still angry.
He doesn't want anything to do with the WBC because of what they did with the Golovkin scenario when they tried to enforce him to take a fight.
I reckon.
I bet he still took the belt though.
No, apparently he didn't. Apparently he wouldn't have it, and he sort of wouldn't speak to anyone from the WBC. He's genuinely raging about it.
Shit.
Sorry, yeah.
Was you surprised that Pacquiao Mayweather did 4.4 million buys?
I was.
I thought it would do about 2.5.
Right, so this is the thing.
The same as De La Hoya.
No one gave a shit really. Boxing fans at that point were just sick to death of 7 years of chat, and I do think the average sports fan is going to be nowhere near. There was nowhere near as intrigued as they will be about this. Intrigue sells. Freak shows sell. I mean, Pacquiao Mayweather, I'm shocked he did 4.4 million buys, considering how long and drawn out it was, and how everyone knew that both guys were kind of over the hill. Now
Had
you've
a good
got
promotion though.
But
it didn't. Well, no,
didn't know that, did they? I knew casual that thought Manny Pacquiao was undefeated. I thought they thought this was about 2 undefeated fighters.
No, hang on.
Don't
Pacquiao
talk about
wasn't
Josh like that when he's dropped.
Pacquiao wasn't a crossover star like McGregor is. I don't believe for a second that your average football
Oh,
fan.
mate, come on.
No,
Are
no,
you,
no,
are
no,
you,
no,
are you
no.
having a laugh?
Mate,
Are you
I
having a
reckon-
laugh?
Oh,
Are
no.
you,
Walk
are
down-
you
you can
genuinely
walk
having a
down an
laugh?
average high street.
Manny Pacquiao's a #1 selling singer as well, mate. Talented
No,
voice.
Honestly,
He
you
plays
don't-
basketball, mate. For fuck's sake, he's a
You
He
senator.
was on Jimmy. He was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, all that shit.
You
He
could-
was as big in America. He was maybe not as big as Floyd was, but not far off it.
no.
Yeah,
I
He
think
was
Pacquiao
he was
doing-
massive.
Pacquiao was doing over 1 million buys on his own for about 5 or 6 years before that fight. Like, but no,
As someone who's not American as well.
No.
That's like unheard of, isn't it?
But the Marquez fight hurt him.
of course it did. But
Marketability was down. I think personally, if you're looking at stars, McGregor's star is only going up, but Pacquiao's at the time was going down. I was shocked it did 4.4 million. I didn't think it would do anywhere near that many. And I think the intrigue factor of this fight, I think it does a lot. And also with Mayweather, he pretty much stopped promoting fights when he signed that Showtime deal. I think it was the Guerrero fight was the first one. He went, I'm just not going to bother. I don't need to do any more. My opponents can do the selling. I'm going to sit back and do nothing. I still can't decide in my head if he goes back to Pretty Boy or I'm a huge fan of Casual Disdain. You know, when people just go, just fuck off. And I kind of think, I'm now thinking, will he go that route when McGregor's spatting off? Will he just go the Casual Disdain route and just to wind him up even more? But I do think we'll get a good promotion. You can't say the Pacquiao fight was promoted well. They didn't promote it at all. Tickets didn't go on sale till like the week before. They did like one press conference before, one press conference just before the fight.
oh, mate, they had all of the specials, like the build-ups and the road to Mayweather.
But there wasn't
Yeah,
any
they
banter.
had the fucking they rolled out a red carpet for their press conference, man. They had like grand arrivals for that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they had the one big one before. They didn't do a world tour, did they?
They did a tour around America. They didn't do a world tour. Yeah, you're right.
They didn't do a big global tour. That promotion for that fight wasn't anywhere near. I didn't think that impressive at all. They didn't do much at all, and the build up was quite shoddy because everyone was shitting all over it because no one knew what the fuck was going on, what was going on with the tickets.
Here's a question, Macho. What's the best promotion for a fight that you can remember in the last few years?
Oh, dear, that's a.
Because I think, do you remember Canelo Mayweather? I thought that was promoted unbelievably well.
That was good.
Absolutely huge. And that did what did that do? 2.5 million or something? Huge numbers, given that Canelo wasn't a star then. Like they timed that so well in terms of the tour and the 24/7s and the all access and all of it, and it just built and built and built, and it was really Hatton Mayweather was promoted amazingly.
Yeah, that was good.
But Floyd came to the UK for that, didn't he?
He turned up wearing the Man United shirt.
Man United shirt, yeah.
He had the banter. He brought the fucking abuse. They didn't need it for Manny and fucking Floyd. No one even spoke a fucking word in that. But I think Floyd's going to do nothing here. I don't think he has to.
Are they going to go Ireland for it, Alex? Are they going to like do a press conference in Dublin or anything like that, or in Boston or some sort of Irish sort of city?
Of course they will.
They will.
Has that been confirmed? Are they doing a world tour?
I don't know if they will, but I think they probably will.
Because I did notice Canelo and Golovkin in London today, which I was quite surprised at, actually. I was surprised they were doing a world tour for that.
Well, they need to now, don't they? Because they've got that huge fight is 3 weeks before theirs. So they need to. I think the angle they'll be pushing is this is a proper fight. But what they'll end up doing, I think, inadvertently, is probably helping promote the other fight.
I'm going to be proved right on that because I've been arguing the entire time that I think that does less than 1.5 million. And I've seen loads of Americans saying they reckon it will get close to 2 million or whatever. I don't think it will. I don't think Golovkin's anywhere near big enough as a name. And I don't think Canelo can carry it. I don't think Canelo can do 1 million on his own. I think he needs an opponent.
Well, I think whatever. I think you've got not 25% off, maybe. I mean, I'm just pulling that figure out in my arse, but this Mayweather McGregor fight is going to hurt the pay-per-view sales. I don't know what the price is, but I'd imagine it's going to be at least $100 in the US.
They're saying it'll be
least.
There was a line on this, I think yesterday. He said it would be. They said it wouldn't be more than Mayweather Pacquiao. That's what they would guarantee. I think Showtime said. They said, will the price be higher than Mayweather Pacquiao? And they said no. So that means I presume it'll be the same, which is 99, wasn't it, or 95? Or something.
I thought it was more for HD. I thought it was like 120 or something. 110 for HD.
Wasn't it 89 for normal and 99 for HD?
Might have been.
I feel like it was around $100, wasn't it? But basically, they've said it will be the same for this, I think.
So are you guys actually watching this fight? I can't wait for it. I'm going to be watching it. I love a freak show.
No, I love anarchy, mate. I've already said I want McGregor to win because it'll just fucking end boxing and boxing shit. So.
No, but equally, I would love to see all those UFC gimps. If McGregor just gets knocked out in 30 seconds, like a clean, like Ortiz style, That would be brilliant as well. But I think I'm not going to be betting on the fight. I'm not going to touch it with money because I think there's definitely an angle behind the scenes that's being played, 100%. So Floyd will either, have resigned himself to going the distance or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm not talking bet the fucking distance or KO because that is the only real variable here. But the money that seems to be going on McGregor, Floyd's closing in like ridiculous. I mean, he could be good down to like 3-1 on, I reckon, by the time.
Let's play the Bellew game, the devil's advocate game, right? I know Floyd's a gym rat and he's always in good shape. He's 40 years old, hasn't fought for a while. We know he's got brittle hands.
He's on steroids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, what's the testing? No, I can't even bring myself to say it. No, it's not going to happen. Do we know anything about the drug testing?
Well, yeah. He's...
Either been on?
Yeah, there won't be any fucking drug.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. But I don't know. I just think, no, I can't do it.
At most, maybe McGregor's subjected to the USADA stuff. Isn't that like well, I don't know exactly how it works in UFC, but I know are they year round on there with USADA or?
This is going to be Floyd's last fight, isn't it?
You think so, yeah.
So just going back to Shep's point about the angle, does he care? Does Floyd doesn't need to market himself the next time for the next fight? Does he care if he stops him in a minute? Does he need to carry him?
No, I just feel like I don't know. I just always think there's an.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's something there.
He could have stopped Berto so easily.
Floyd could have a bet on himself.
Easily. Yeah,
I've often said that Floyd bets on himself to go the distance because I thought he could have stopped Canelo as well if he put his foot on the gas.
100%. Canelo was ready to go. He was ready.
He was ready to quit.
Yeah, 100%. 100% could have stopped him. I think there's I don't know. But also a lot of people, I don't think many people thought Floyd would knock Ortiz out, and yet he sort of showed a bit of killer instinct there. Guys, can I just say breaking news while we've been on the pod? Tyrone Zoiga, the elite world level super middleweight champion, is passing on the World Series of Boxing tournament in order to the Super 6 thing, in order to rematch the Grenade Isaac Ekpo. So that's one to look forward to.
So where does they rematch that for the Grenade?
That'll be on. Hearn will get that on pay-per-view, I think.
Hopefully.
Imagine if Smigger comes out and says like, I'd like a shot at the winner. It will be. I'd actually love it. I reckon I'm almost going full circle on Smith, and I'm going to become a fan because he's so much of a twat. It's gone right round the other side.
Is it like the Audley Harrison thing?
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. I loved Harrison because he was such a dick in every way that there was no redeeming feature. But yeah, no. I mean, I'll probably watch it, but it does depend on the undercard. I mean, I'm not going to stay up till 5 a.m. And sitting through nothing.
Well, they're hinting that Gervonta Davis might be on it.
So I said that, didn't he?
I'm remembering the Pacquiao Mayweather undercard now. That was so bad. Do you remember that Lomachenko fight?
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Awful. That's really put a downer on.
No, Floyd said he was going to get Jack on there, and he's going to get Davis on there. I think it'll be a good undercard actually.
If he's clever, it will be like Canelo, and he will stack it with actual good fights on the undercard. Like you'll get.
He doesn't need to, does he? Because no fuckers.
No, but that will get the proper boxing fans to buy it. That's what I'm saying. You'll get like it'll give it legitimacy. If you've got say cleverly Jack, and let's say by some miracle you've got a fight like Khan against Matisse. I know they're not tied to the money team, but just something like that. I think that could add 500,000 buys if you play.
I think that's a good point. Also, it's worth noting that Floyd. I've said this before on pods that I thought Floyd's, team, money, team promotions, and all that bollocks. I thought it was just a gimmick. I thought it was just nothing. But actually, it's legit. He was cracking when he was over with Gervonta Davis for the Liam Walsh fight, and I think he is in boxing for the long haul as a promoter. And he is surrounded by clever people. He knows how to market himself. I'd be shocked if he doesn't use this. And it is a huge global platform. This is pay-per-view in probably every fucking country. I'd be shocked if he doesn't use this as an opportunity to get his stable over. And I do think that you'll probably see like all his stable out on that card, and it will be decent. But,
have they confirmed that Sky have got it yet?
Well, they must have if they've passed on Canelo Triple G. We were talking about this a few weeks ago that they would pass, because Hearn said that Canelo Triple G would be pay-per-view. Mayweather fight would be pay-per-view. It's whether Sky take both, because they've got Bellew's next fight will be pay-per-view. AJ's next fight will be pay-per-view. The Gal's next fight will be pay-per-view. They can't do them all. So for them to not have Canelo Triple G, they'd definitely be taking Mayweather McGregor.
And we all know Hearn makes the final decisions on what Sky takes as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I tweeted him, say well done for making Mayweather McGregor.
He gave Floyd the okay. He gave him the thumbs up, and he said, "Yeah, you can do it, mate. You can take the fight."
Yeah, of course he did. He negotiated it with Showtime. He's the man. Done a deal, isn't he? He's the real Al Heyman.
I don't know if we're going to kind of finish up here because I need to fucking go. If I'm reading right, Sky are going to eventually bring out where, and it's the first time they've done it, where you can pick what fucking sports channels you actually want instead of having to buy the full package, because they're going to dedicate. They've kind of twisted the story to kind of suit a certain agenda at that point. They're going to bring out a golf channel, but it's going to be a separate payment if you want it. And the way it kind of worded is if they're going to break down the channels where it can be tiered, where if you want like maybe the Fitbit channels and the boxing and all that, you can get that. If you want like maybe just say Formula One, you can get that added on it. And if you want the golf, get that added on it. See if this harms. I've always said that Hearn's end game is to maybe try and get like some sort of fucking his own channel or something like that, or where it's just constantly pay-per-view, right? See if this harms. This is going to affect his budget line and all, because you're probably going to get people who's turning around saying, I'm not getting Sky for boxing and all, so that might affect his fucking budget as well.
They don't have the content. They've done the golf channel before and it flopped badly. F1's got its own channel. It started with its own channel, and then now for the races, they've still got F1 as its standalone channel, but they also show it on like Sky Sports Mix and Sky One. They could do it for the football, but there's too many sports that don't have the content, and boxing doesn't have the content. F1 doesn't have the content to have like its own 24/7 rolling channel. I'd be surprised if they did that, but if you're saying that's what they're doing,
imagine if there was a WWE network for boxing. It'd just be so amazing, where you got all the fights and then you had that archive that just went back like 40 years.
It can never happen because of the promoters. Can it?
I pay £100 a month for that. No,
why would you want to pay £100 a month for that when you've got YouTube, you dickhead?
Because they get taken off YouTube, mate.
You would pay £100 a month to watch fucking.
I pay £100 a month to have the archive of.
The WWE network's $9.99. Why would you pay?
Can you remember when Fight Pass was just brought out? Like Eddie and Barry Hearn were this fight's just about to start and all that. So I would go onto YouTube, get the fight, link it onto his tweet, and say there it's there for fuck all. They were absolutely fucking.
He started putting those. I saw he's putting that next gen show. I think is it next week? He's putting that on Facebook, isn't he? For like the undercard on Facebook, and then the main hour or the main like hour and a half top two fights on Sky Sports. Which I don't know if that's good or if, again, it's just taking the piss out of the guys who pay £60 a month for Sky.
These Sky regular shows are a fucking disgrace. And to be fair, we've all get called moaners and whingers, but we've been saying this for a couple of years now, where this is going. And these are absolute fucking shambles. And to say something as well, after the AJ fight, a lot of casuals in my office were like all over me, talking to me about boxing, asking me about Wilder, why people booing Eddie Hearn. There's a few guys that have since watched regular Sky shows have just gone, that's fucking shit. Like they really haven't capitalised on like the hype for that or the aftermath of the AJ fight. And they're just, these Sky cars are getting worse and worse. And the fans that they did get from that fight, they probably lose by the time the next fucking pay-per-view comes around. They are shocking. I mean, this next gen is a fucking joke. It's got like, is Stewie Hall on that card? He's like 35, isn't he? Like, yeah, it's just fucking, it's ridiculous.
It's Buglioni, isn't it? Headlining it or whatever.
At the O2, isn't he? He's headlining the O2. I mean, I like Frank. Frank was a decent boxer. I know it's not cool to say, but I reckon he could be a pay-per-view star. He's a good-looking guy. He's well-spoken. He's quite fun to watch. Unfortunately, he's just not that good.
Yeah,
for him to be headlining the O2,
he'd be a big star. Definitely, he's got a good following, hasn't he? Sells a few thousand tickets. Yeah. 100%.
But for headlining the O2, I mean, really? I mean, that's we get, because I don't want to sound like a flash prick, but we get free VIP tickets for the O2, and I got an email from marketing saying, because you've used them before, do you want them for this fight? And I was like, no.
I'm not wasting them. Yeah,
exactly. They're free, but no, I'm not using them for this.
Yeah, it's the sort of card where you wouldn't watch it if it was free on telly. You probably wouldn't bother watching it just because it's shite. It's like fucking, what is it, Fowler in his second profile.
I mean, I'll watch it because I'm a sad cunt, and I've got, and I will watch it because I will. But to go out of my way to go to the O2, no, fuck that.
Yeah, it's shite. Is there anything on this weekend to finish on, Carl?
Absolutely fucking nothing.
There really isn't.
Just random guys like Kermit Simpson in that fighting.
And
right,
then
so
yeah.
let's just fucking wrap this up because I need to go and make my dinner because I'm starving. I'm still raging about the Ward decision. I hope there's no a third fight. I can't be arsed anymore.
We didn't talk about
Steve-
Paddy Barnes, Brian.
No one cares.
No, I know.
Fuck
But can I
that.
just say,
Right.
I didn't see the fight. I don't know what happened. But some people were saying that he struggled quite a bit. Just very, very quickly, did he struggle or not? Or did he win quite easily? Did anyone see it or not? No?
Who gives a fuck?
All right. No, fair enough if no one watched it.
Right, I'm going TKO 8. Andre Wall, baby.
Thank you.
Fuck
That's a
war.
wrap. Goodbye, everybody.
Fuck boxing.